stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Yeah, I had a hard day and it's a long way back to my home. Turn the radio on and hear it. My friend Lizzie pretend that their voice counts, but nothing amounts to anything until I hear it from you.
Frank, Hayes, Lauren, and RJ, The Frangie Show starts now on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, welcome in, guys. Along for the ride on a Monday that is not a victory Monday. Well, I'm going to say it. Trying to find a better way to say it. We've been talking. If you've been listening to the radio station all day long, you've certainly heard your takes, our takes. We're going to open up the phone lines and let you weigh in today. You deserve that. We're also going to weigh in as well. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carlyon, Lauren Brooks, and R.J. Saunders on the program. Thanks for joining us on a Monday. Our Monday's always brought to you by our friends at The Best Bet. The best place to have fun around here is The Best Bet. Want to go first?
Sure.
Want to go first? Want to go second?
Sure.
It looks like I'm trying to stall, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like I'm stalling. Listen, all today's show will be about the Jaguars, and I have done this 36 years, and widely recognize the fact that I'm Sugarcoat Sam, and I've been Sugarcoat Sam forever. This one's hard to sugarcoat. It was the last 6 games were a very disappointing end to a season that started with so much promise. So I got a lot of thoughts, but you go. And you wrote a great column on it, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I
thought
appreciate
it.
it.
Was very well. I thought the column was very good.
Thank you. And yeah, I mean it stunk to write it, and it's unfortunate. First off, I just feel bad for the fans that I think the fans had an energy this season unlike anything that we've seen, and they've always been great. But the fans, I thought, really took it to another level. They were fantastic in Nashville, and they deserved better than what this team provided. This team just didn't have any heart. It also wasn't a very smart team. And they've got talent, and certainly they had some injuries, but at the end of it, they were poorly coached. It was poorly constructed. And again, part of the column was going back from the very genesis of this season, the very start of the offseason, and going through the moves that were made. And we'll have months to dive into all of it, unfortunately. But this is a loss on the whole that you can't get past. You can't do anything except languish in it and be in agony over it for 245 days until they play meaningful football. Now they'll have OTAs and they'll sign free agents and they'll have draft picks, and we'll go watch them in training camp, and I'm sure there'll be moments of excitement. But what happened yesterday is going to be impossible for me to get out of my head until they win games next year in the regular season. So until I see a winning streak in the 2024 regular season, to me, they've got massive systemic problems that I don't believe are going to get fixed.
I don't understand how you play a team, the Titans, that scored 3 points the week before, and they pretty much have 2 weapons, Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins, and that's about it. And you allow them to do what they did and score 28 points. And yes, you had a chance at the end. You certainly did. But it was too little too late. And the fact that the offense, I think, was messed up all season long, never got to the point where it should have been. And then we talked so many good things about the defense. And then when it came time for them to be clutch, they certainly weren't. And so I think, moving forward, you went from the Elite Eight to a team picking 17th in the draft, and you have questions about your quarterback in addition to everything else.
Yeah, I agree with so much of what you both said. I think this is and by the way, Doug Peterson is speaking now. Hayes has a terrific interview, 2 terrific interviews with Tank Bigsby and Devin Lloyd. You'll hear those in the 320 segment. You'll also hear the comments. We will pull the comments from Doug Peterson. He's speaking now to the media. We want you to hear all those comments. So you will hear the significant comments of the head coach. That's very important. You'll hear that today on our program, and then you'll have a chance to weigh in as well. You'll get all our thoughts too. So just to set the scene for you, you're going to get all of this from all of us. Having said all that, the what hurts the most is what stings the most in this is you started 8-3 and lost 5 out of 6. There was no up and down, and I think more than anything else, that game Sunday, to both your points, felt like the opponent had more urgency than this team. That I think that's what hurt. They were I can tell you this, and this I'm going to go where I really think the concern is. But the opponent felt like they had more urgency, and where that hurt you. And Hayes, you said it best, and I want to reiterate what you said. I wish I'd said it first, and Lauren, you kind of said the same thing. I know we talked about it during the break. These Jag fans, they got on those planes and went to Nashville until it was sold out, and then they got in their dang cars and drove to Nashville until the hotels were sold out, and they were all up and down Broadway, and they were wearing that teal, and they were yelling that Duval, and they've done it all year long, and it really is a special fan base. And maybe the Bills and the Cowboys and the Steelers and the Giants and all these other teams feel like they've got great. The 49ers have great fan bases, but I'll take this one over all of them because what this fan base has gone through for 3 decades, none of them have gone through. None of them have gone through what this group has gone through for 3 decades. The Bills have been to 4 Super Bowls. Okay? The Steelers have won a bunch of Super Bowls. The 49ers have won a bunch of Super Bowls. The Cowboys. What this fan base has been through for 3 decades and never flinched, never freaking flinched. So if you're a Jaguar fan, raise a glass in your own honor because you deserve that. Please don't do it if you're driving. So, but I really believe that about this fan base, and God bless all of you for it, and how excited you are, when we all see you out and about. And Hayes hit it right on the head. This isn't pandering. This is really truth about this, real true about this fan base. But it looked like there wasn't a sense of urgency. I know they want to win. I know they try. And there's so many areas. Lauren, you brought up the quarterback. I don't know if I'm to a point where there's a question about the quarterback, but I hear you. I get the point. It's naive for that not even to be a question, isn't it? I hear you. I still think there's a lot of good, and Trevor Lawrence is going to be a very good player in the league. But there were some inexplicable bad plays. He probably was playing. He played sore. He played hurt all year. The miss to Zay Jones on the one interception wasn't his fault. The other one was an inexplicable miss. There are so many key points to the game, and I'm going to get to all the key points in the game in a bit. But in my mind, what derailed this team is because of injury, illness, bad play. The 6 positions where I thought they really struggled were guard, center guard, tackle, nose guard, tackle on the defensive side. To me, the 6 positions which I think changed their fortunes, in my opinion, were guard, center guard, and the defensive front. I thought the outside linebackers played well. I mean, they had 27 sacks between
27
them?
and a half.
27 and a half sacks. That's pretty damn good. I thought Darius Williams had a Pro Bowl year. I thought Tyson Campbell, before he got hurt, played at a good level. I thought the 2 safeties. Cisco had another big interception yesterday. Rayshon made more plays in the backfield this year than I've ever seen a safety make, I think. Foye Oluokun is in the he didn't win the tackling title, but he was right there. Devin Lloyd was up and down, but I think Devin's a good player. I thought Devon Hamilton had a health issue that he never recovered from. He played, he tried, but he was never the same guy. Foley Fatukasi did not play very well. Roy Robertson Harris didn't play to the level he did a year ago. And you didn't have a lot of depth there, Hayes. You had Gotsis, you had Blackson, but you didn't. But I thought those 3 guys. And I think the 3 in the offense were worse. I thought Luke Fortner really struggled. The video we've all seen now, the quarterback sneak, was a microcosm. I think. I don't think Brandon Sheriff played well. I don't think he's the player he was 3 or 4 years ago. And they had a revolving door at left guard because of the injuries and whatnot. And I think I'm not making excuses for Trevor or Travis Etienne, but I thought it's hard to play in this league when you aren't good at those 2 spots. It really is hard to play in this league. Travis Etienne, God bless him for the 1,000-yard season he had, because I don't think he had a running lane the whole year. Did he?
Not many.
And he still got 1,000 yards. Trevor made some bad plays, but I'm not. I think Trevor. I don't think he had clean pockets much of the year. I really don't. He may have some misses yesterday, but I don't think he had a lot of clean pockets. I really don't. Trevor's instincts have to get better. His instincts. You can't have delay of games as often as he's had those. The quarterback sneak, I know it's worked in other times, but if he didn't check to it, he just did it. So if you watch the Brian Baldinger video, which we think we all saw, Sheriff was pulling. It was an off-tackle play to the right. It was an ISO play to the right that you don't look like it might have been there. Now you don't know because once Trevor dove, everybody did something different. Fortner got blown up and it had no chance. And those are instincts. Throwing interceptions in the end zone instead of throwing the ball out of the back of the end zone. Throwing
the ball inbounds when you don't have any timeouts and the clock's running.
Throwing the ball inbounds at the end of the half. Those are instincts that have to get better.
Throwing the ball short of the first down.
Right,
Marco.
throwing the ball short of the first down yesterday. Correct. Those are instincts that have to get better. And you know what? And it's not a good sign that we all three had an example, you know? And so those are things that have to happen. Those are things that have to get better. And with Trevor, with this football team, but I think it's the interior three. So, but I'm going to go through a bunch of things that I think went wrong in this game and the season. And look, don't get on fan guy for being upset about this one. You were 8-3. You finished 1-5. 2-4 gets you in the playoffs. 2-4. I mean, if you finish 2-4, you're in the playoffs. And so, and one of the losses was to a team rival or no rival. I still don't think the Titans are very good. I think the Titans won the game because they played a great game, and Derrick Henry ran crazy, and they blocked, but they blocked our guys. And so, no, this isn't a day to, you know me, I'm always you know me, I'm a positive guy, and well, you didn't see this, and you got to consider this. Not today. This was a tough loss. And I don't think they'll do that either. What was in the locker room? What was the vibe? I mean,
they own it. They know that
they own it. They have owned it.
They blew it, and they didn't shy away from it. They, certainly you're always going to ask questions. I say always, but a lot of the questions are going to be, there's a little bit of an excuse built into the question, like, well, is it because of this? And to the players' credit, that there wasn't a whole lot of grasping at that. It was like, no, we just didn't play well when we needed to play well. And there was absolute accountability today. So you're not gonna hear any, well, why are you being so hard on us, or why aren't you focusing on the 9 wins? I mean, they get that. This could have been a special year. You have a quarterback on a rookie deal. We talked about it. How often are you going to have the kind of depth in your starting lineup that you have because you're not paying Trevor Lawrence big money, and take advantage of that? And it looked like they were well on their way to doing that. They were 8-3. We were talking about the quarterbacks they were going to be facing coming up, and we were drooling because it was like the opposite of a murderer's row. It couldn't have been more favorable, and they gagged. I mean, this was a choke job, collapse, gag, and everyone in that building knows it. And they're the ones that have to live with it. I mean, you hope that we're sitting here in 13 months and we're able to have a conversation about, is it fair to say, or could that collapse last season possibly have helped propel them to where we are now? But that's 13 months from now, if they even get there. So it's incredibly disappointing. And yeah, they accept full responsibility for it. I mean, obviously, I have to imagine Doug will as well. But yeah, in the locker room, the 12 guys that did, media scrums, and, the couple guys that I caught up with just one-on-one, no one was dodging it or making excuses. So they choked, and they know they choked.
One of the worst parts for me is watching football all day Saturday, and every single time, it felt like it happened every 5 minutes. They'd show the graphics, of course, of the playoff scenarios, one of them being if the Jaguars lose to the Titans. And I kept thinking, stop saying that, that's never going to happen. And then now, of course, the Jaguars get to be the laughingstock.
It's funny you said that, because maybe I didn't watch enough, or we were traveling, but everyone was tweeting what you just said. With the Jaguars lost, blah, blah, blah. So that must have been everywhere.
It was. It was, like I said, they mentioned it a lot, and I get it.
Because the Steelers won Saturday.
Because, and the Steelers had a path, and, of course, a lot of people know that the Texans have this great quarterback, and so they kept mentioning it for that reason, too, Saturday night. I get all that. But I just kept thinking, there's no way this team is going to lose to that Titans team. There's no way that the Titans are going to have more of a will to win than this team, and that's exactly what happened.
I didn't think so either. There's a lot of times a game will happen, and you'll go back and go, I kind of feared that. I kind of had a bad feeling. I didn't see this one coming. Did you have any? You and I talked.
I mean,
we talked right before the game. We ate right before kickoff.
Oh, I was shocked at the result. I thought the Jaguars would win, comfortably 10, 13 points, somewhere in there. I didn't think the Titans would score much at all. keep in mind, they're a week removed from losing to Houston in a game in which they were 1 of 12 on third down. They ran 53 plays for 187 yards, and they were a million times better than that against the Jaguars because the Jaguars allowed it. That's the only reason it happened, because the Jaguars allowed themselves to be beaten by a bad team. That's the only reason it happened. Tennessee didn't do anything special. Heck, they lined up with an additional blocker. I mean, half the game, the guy's like 61 is reporting eligible. Well, that's when you know you got a broken offense.
By the way, I think it was more than half.
It might have been. It felt like it.
61.
I mean, that's how limited they were. They just were like, we're just going to make this a street fight.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do anything. I mean, Tannehill was terrible.
Yep.
And it didn't matter because the Jaguars didn't show up to the fight.
I tell you what, people love passing games and down and outs and post patterns and RPOs and options and nakeds and this and that, and it's pretty to watch guys like Tyreek Hill who can out jump you and out. The most physical team usually wins the football game. As long as there's been a sport, the most physical team usually wins the game. Tennessee was clearly the most physical team yesterday, and frankly, the Jags haven't been the most physical team much in this second half of the season. And that, at the end of the day, the most physical team generally wins the football.
I mean, from a roster standpoint, it has to be priority 1, priority 2, and priority 3 this offseason. They need – it's kind of similar to what we said about the Gators.
Yeah.
The Jaguars need a metric ton of weight
Agreed.
Coming in free agency and the premium picks in this draft.
100% agree. No question about it. We'll take a break. I do want you to hear the comments of Doug Peterson when he meets with the media. In addition to that, Hayes has one-on-ones with Devin Lloyd and with Tank Bigsby. All that comes up. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
2 hours spent on 2 things: your Jags and the rest of the NFL with Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony.
Jaguars Today from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Studios.
Every weekday from 10 to noon on 1010XL.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the garden 5. Clearwater scores.
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage to
ClearwaterJags.com. The new year is the perfect time to make sure that your roof hasn't been damaged after storm season. Schedule a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. And right now, get $250 off your new roof, plus flexible financing options. This offer expires January 31st and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
You know, many plumbers won't quote prices over the phone and instead charge a service fee for an in-home estimate. Of course, because they know once they're in your home, you're probably not going to send them away. But Roland Reach Plumbing is different. Roland will give you a price quote over the phone. And there's never a trip charge or service fee for an estimate. So if you've got a leak and can't wait a week and don't like paying unnecessary fees, call on Roland Reach Plumbing at plumbingjacksonville.com.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
I'm Hacker. Get more Gators on the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Wednesday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL Florida Gator Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or TuneIn.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and right before the holiday break, I was down 30 pounds with Awaken 180. Did I pack on 5 pounds during the holiday festivities? Nope. I lost another 3 during the toughest time for weight loss. You've heard Mike Dempsey and I rave about the simplicity of Awaken 180, but let me paint a clearer picture. We're talking about a program so straightforward, even a couple of normal guys like us aced it. And if we could do it, there's no doubt you can too. In 2 months, I've dropped 33 pounds, and the weight is practically melting off without any of the sweating. Do you have to run to lose weight with Awaken 180? Absolutely not. Exercise is great and encouraged, but if losing weight is your goal, it's about what you put in your mouth. I'm back at the gym, but you don't have to. No gym, no meds, Just listen to your coach and boom, it's that simple. Eat to lose weight with the clear solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Do what Mike and I did and call 844-346-1800 or schedule your January consultation at awaken180weightloss.com.
Lauren Brooks here for Hodges Mazda. Why buy from Hodges Mazda at the Avenues? Because they strive to ensure a satisfying and comfortable car buying experience. That's why the sales staff doesn't work on commission, allowing Hodges Mazda to put your best interests first. Whether you're looking for a brand new Mazda or a pre-owned vehicle, Hodges Mazda has a large selection to help you choose from. And every vehicle purchased from Hodges Mazda comes with 2 years free maintenance and free car washes for life. Now that is peace of mind. So visit Hodges Mazda today or shop online at hodgesmazda.com.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carlyon from MyBookie. It is time to gear up. The NFL playoffs are here, and it's time to get in on the action with MyBookie. Don't just watch. Score big with exclusive boosted odds and huge prize contests that'll have you feeling the Super Bowl fever before it even hits. Whether you're a seasoned pro or ready to roll for the first time, MyBookie is your ticket to turning your sports knowledge into cold, hard cash. MyBookie has the largest online lineup of odds, contests, and Vegas-style casino games, making it your ultimate destination for all types of fun 24/7 right at your fingertips. If you've been waiting for the right time to get in on the action, the wait is over. Make your winning move today and sign up at MyBookie. Use promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit up to $1,000. That's right, 1010XL for an opportunity to boost your betting power. Join today, MyBookie. Be part of a winning team. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere.
Some of those old injuries, they begin to creep up and things begin to start hurting again. I finally got to the point where I'm like, I can't just wake up and know my knee's going to be bothering me and push through this on a daily basis.
Old football injuries can't keep former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter down. So he decided to check out the all-natural regenerative pain treatments at QC Kinetics.
I was fortunate enough to obviously sit down with QC and kind of understand your body still has the ability to heal in it. We just need to give it a little bit of a boost.
Exactly. QC Kinetics concentrates your body's own healing agents in your painful hips, shoulders, knees, or back.
Everyone can say, well, you need to replace this or replace that, but it's no surprise to see people being willing to try this first, especially when it has such great results.
QC Kinetics treatments take place the same day right in the office. No downtime. Call today for your complimentary consultation and see if you're a good candidate.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Dropping is Trevor again, looking. Fires left side again. That ball is picked off. Oh, my goodness, it is picked off.
I'm frustrated. I'm disappointed. I'm mad, angry. My heart hurts, obviously, for the players. The coaches involved, they've worked their tails off. But today's game was sort of our season in a nutshell.
They run it with Henry to the left side. Picks his way to the 10-yard line. Touchdown, Derrick Henry.
It's tough, it's pretty surreal feeling. It's kind of hard to put into words right now. Your whole season comes down to a few plays, and we just weren't able to make them. It hasn't even really set in yet. We're done, not going to be playing anymore this year, so it's going to be a long, long off season.
Tannehill throws it out of the backfield into the right flat, and that's going to be yards along the right sideline, inside the 10. Touchdown, Tajay Spears.
Disappointing the way we finished our season. Obviously, it's definitely not good enough. Things start with me, and I got to make sure that I'm holding myself accountable and I'm doing all I can to, help our football team win on and off the football field.
The Titans have extended the lead over the Jaguars.
You should feel sick, and you should feel disappointed and frustrated in yourself and our offense and the team, everything. Because like I said, you put in so much work, and then for it all to, coming in here, we win, we're making the playoffs, we got a home playoff game. We're leaving here, going home, and we're done.
The ball goes over on downs. The Titans will take a knee a few times, and the Jags will be turned away here.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
That's how it sounded yesterday. A very disappointing loss. The Titans were the more physical team. They punched the Jags in the mouth, and they eliminated them from the playoffs. I think one of the things that bothers me the most is I thought if the Jags got through that game, they might make a little run. I didn't. Buffalo looks really good. They looked good last night. But I would have had some confidence that they would have beaten Cleveland next week, and I would have had some confidence. But it wasn't to be. We'll talk a lot about it. We'll open up the phone lines to you. John Ogier stops by. A lot to do today as we wrap up a season earlier than we expected to wrap up a season of Jaguars football. They finished 9-8 in the regular season for the second season in a row, but this one doesn't feel like last year's 9-8. Doug Peterson meets the media momentarily. You'll hear those comments as well. Let's start, though, with some principal players. Devin Lloyd's a first-round draft pick. He's been up and down in his career, but he's certainly fast, certainly athletic, certainly a guy that's going to be part of this team's future. And Hayes caught up with Devin Lloyd today in the locker room.
Great. We're pleased to be joined with Jaguars linebacker Devin Lloyd here on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Man, it's great to see you. I appreciate your time. Tough morning, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's tough. You never want to finish the year like how we did.
What are some lessons that you think can be learned? You're so young in your career. This team's got so many young players. How do you turn this into a positive in years to come?
Yeah, you got to let this loss fuel you for the off season. Go back, evaluate, kind of, what happened, these last few games and this last, really the last 6 games. We were sitting in a good position, and then we got to evaluate, why things didn't go the way we wanted. First things first is rest, mentally, physically, spiritually, kind of just get back to where you have a clear mind and, you're kind of over this loss. I mean, you're never going to be over it, but, long removed from it. But, let's find out what happened, really.
What were some things, Devin, that stand out to you about yesterday in terms of why Henry and Spears were able to have the days they had?
Yeah, it's just assignment football. Everybody's got to be disciplined in the run game, and that's what it comes down to. And when we're talking about the run game is gap integrity. I don't think it was a physicality issue. It was more so just everybody being where they're supposed to be.
What will be some of the positives you take out of this year as a player, the growth that you had in year 2 in your mind?
Yeah, I took a step forward, but, still want to be able to do more to make more impactful plays. But I definitely took a step forward in my game and, build on top of this.
How will you approach this offseason? Have you even had a chance to really think about how you'll plan it in terms of everything, vacations, but also just, stuff you'll do to continue to hone your craft?
For sure. Yeah, take some time off, like I said, initially, just recover, for the first 3 weeks or so, and then get bigger, stronger, faster, understand the game of football, situations of football, and specifically the NFL game, just all the areas, of my game, continue to grow in.
What kind of message did Doug leave you guys with?
Well, obviously you never want to finish the year like this, and, we all play this game to win. We want to be in that big game, and we want to win it. And so, losing sucks, obviously, but he never questioned our effort. He never questioned our desire to be great and to be the best. And, we have the right guys. We have a locker room that we can build on top of. But when it comes down to it, everybody's got to execute. Everybody's got to be disciplined. And, we have to make plays when our team needs it. So, as bittersweet as it is, there's things to build on top of. And, there's still positivity looking forward for this franchise.
Devin Lloyd, thank you so much for your time, and certainly have a wonderful offseason.
Devin Lloyd finishes the year with 127 tackles, only 2 for a loss. 1 quarterback hit. He did not have a sack or an interception, 7 pass breakups, no forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries. So very active with the 127 tackles. But as he goes into year 3, obviously looking for a little bit more in terms of big plays there.
Here's Hayes where he can really grow. Devin overthought plays. He overran plays. He thought he saw things he didn't see. And when he let the game come to him, he was a way better player. And I can tell you that's the message to him. Don't run yourself out of position because you're athletic. Because he's athletic now. He can go. Don't run yourself out of position. And I can tell you, when he played badly, he was lost because he was trying to go too many places. That is, and I can tell you definitively that is what they have told him, and that's what he will work on.
Yeah, there were multiple times yesterday in watching the game on TV that you could tell he went the wrong way. The run was going one way, and he was on the other side of the ball in the line. And so At that point in time, yeah, that's a lot of film watching. But we talked about that last year. That's what's got to improve for him is he is athletic. But having those football senses, it seems like he has them some games and not other games.
Yeah, and he's got instinct. He's a smart kid, by the way. He's very smart. Sometimes you think too much, Hayes. Sometimes you think, and again, the book on Devin in that building is don't think too much. Don't, play with instincts, not with guessing and trying to figure stuff out. That I'm telling you, that's the message to him.
Yeah, and he'll be a big part of the plan in 24. He's going into the third year of his rookie contract, first-round pick, who, has played, I'd say, at a B- level since his arrival, but I still feel like he is capable of being a B+ player. I don't know that he's got A+ player in there, but I do think he can be a good to very good starter in this league as he continues to grow.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, more Jaguar talk. You're going to hear from Tank Bigsby. I think one of the things that bothered me the most about the 3rd-and-1 play and certainly the 4th-and-1 play is that's why you drafted him. You drafted Tank Bigsby for that play, that moment. Now, the coaches could, and I'm sure Doug and Press could say, "Let's, we called it," and Trevor checked out of it, and I get it. And Trevor wasn't sure they could block it. So I understand, but that's why you drafted him. The reason he was drafted was for that moment. 3rd and goal, 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. That's why you used the 3rd-round pick. That's why you used it. And so that was a little bothersome to me. We'll take a break. When we come back, you're going to hear from Tank Bigsby, the comments of Doug Peterson. He just got to the podium, I think. All that and more coming up. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
You can find 1010XL on any social media platform: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. At 1010XL.
People ask me sometimes, is it really cooler with Bueller? You see, here at Bueller, we really believe in creating an awesome work environment, and we treat our employees like gold. In return, we ask them to treat our customers that same way. It's our simple recipe for outstanding customer service. I'm Jason Bueller. If you want to experience the Stay Cooler with Bueller level of service, give us a call today or visit BuellerAir.com.
Bueller Air, stay cooler with Bueller.
Nimnick Chevrolet is Northeast Florida's Silverado truck headquarters. Frank Frangie here. With new shipments arriving daily, Nimnick Chevrolet has the best selection of Silverado trucks on the ground in town. Nimnick Chevrolet is conveniently located on the corner of Park and Cassett Avenue or online at nimnickchevy.com. Nimnick Chevrolet is family-owned and operated. No one cares more about their customers before and after the sale. That's Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Post-Game Monday on 1010XL is brought to you by Dandy Foods, makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff.
Big Chief Tire is more than just a tire shop. They're a one-stop destination for top-quality auto service. Frank Frangie here. With 4 generations of dedicated service, they've earned Jacksonville's trust by providing stress-free service at fair prices. From brake repairs to tire replacements, oil changes, and more. Gear up for the 2023 holiday season by making Big Chief your partner in safe and reliable travel. Visit BigChiefTire.com or schedule an appointment at any of their 5 Jacksonville locations.
Whether it's a large commercial project or a multifamily property, trust All Pro Roofing for exceptional craftsmanship and unparalleled customer service. We use only the finest materials, ensuring durability and long-lasting results. Plus, All Pro Roofing now has a full siding and windows division. That's right, All Pro Roofing is not just about roofs anymore. All Pro Roofing, now your trusted partner for commercial roofing, multifamily projects, exterior siding, and windows. AllProRoofingLLC.com.
License number CCC 1327056.
CDC 060138.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
The Women's Board of Wolfson Children's Hospital welcomes tech entrepreneur Steve Wozniak January 17th. For your chance to win tickets, text FORUM to the text line covered by Lifetime Flooring at 641-1010.
Here's Ben and John Lupo, owners of Beards Diamonds.
It's funny, my dad has sold people engagement rings, and now I'm selling their kids engagement rings and anniversary gifts and birthday gifts.
We're blessed with the relationships we've built over the years.
Check out our full inventory at beardsdiamonds.com.
Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carlyon from MyBookie. It is time to gear up. The NFL playoffs are here, and it's time to get in on the action with MyBookie. Don't just watch. Score big with exclusive boosted odds and huge prize contests that'll have you feeling the Super Bowl fever before it even hits. Whether you're a seasoned pro or ready to roll for the first time, MyBookie is your ticket to turning your sports knowledge into cold, hard cash. MyBookie has the largest online lineup of odds, contests, and Vegas-style casino games, making it your ultimate destination for all types of fun 24/7 right at your fingertips. If you've been waiting for the right time to get in on the action, the wait is over. Make your winning move today and sign up at MyBookie. Use promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit up to $1,000. That's right, 1010XL for an opportunity to boost your betting power. Join today, MyBookie. Be part of a winning team. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Attention veterans, if you have a VA loan, you need to listen to this, especially if your current rate is higher than 6.5%. Now is the time to take advantage of the federal government's VA Streamlined Refinance Program. With my friends at Loan Pronto, you can. Go to loanpronto.com. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto has fixed rate APRs in the 5s. You can drop your rate now. Lower your payment with no income documentation and no appraisal. Do it at loanpronto.com. Their all-digital platform makes it easy. They can even cover your closing costs. If you need cash now, Loan Pronto can get you up to 100% of your home value. You can pay off all your credit cards or other debt and save as much as $1,000 a month. Call Loan Pronto now at 904-999-1508 or get a 30-second rate quote at loanpronto.com. Ask about streamlined VA loans, no income doc, and no appraisal. Loan Pronto, 999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Now that the holidays are behind us, you really need to get your septic tank pumped out. Give Duck Duck Rooter a call to schedule your pump out service. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The harsh reality of the Jaguars' 2023 season is that it was the biggest collapse in franchise history, going from an 8-3 record to losing 5 of the last 6 games. Linebacker Josh Allen on the stunning final stretch of the Jaguars season.
Disappointing. Even last week, obviously we got the win, but that's almost like a false hope. And we had to figure out, what it was and how to maximize everybody's play. And if we can continue to do that, man, we'll be where we need to be.
Jaguars linebacker Josh Allen postgame. You can watch the full video on our 1010XL YouTube channel. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
It is a Best Bet Monday here. The Winter Open Satellites kick off this week with a $100 no-limit hold on Satellite into event number 1. That comes up tomorrow at 3 p.m. And then on Wednesday, catch the $280 no-limit hold on Satellite into the Winter Open main event at 3 p.m. So a lot of fun stuff going on this week at the Best Bet. You just heard in the break, we were listening to Doug Peterson and Frank. Overall, I think this Jaguars team couldn't be more frustrated and disappointed. But at the end of the day, They lost to backup quarterbacks, and they were not able to put the end of the season together to make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, you sent out a tweet, I think, to put it in perspective. You listed the quarterbacks and the backup quarterbacks, and there was
Jake Browning, Joe
Yeah,
Flacco,
yeah.
Baker Mayfield, Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, and that's not the group. Even though some of them played well in those games, that's not the group you thought would beat you at the end of the season. You're going to hear from Tank Bigsby in a second, but Doug Peterson has been up there for about 15 or 20 minutes. You're going to hear a lot of his comments. Let's start with the first one because it's one everybody wants to know. Doug was asked, is he considering any staff changes after the way the season went?
At this time, I haven't. I'm still processing everything. Obviously we just finished the season, so I'm going to take the next little bit here and think about everything. Obviously with the way we finished, and it's not where we want to be, obviously, and I got to take all this into consideration.
Now later, he's asked about Press Taylor and his play calling, and he was asked. I think Mia asked him. She's down there at the press conference if he wished he had taken play calling back. He said no, and then somebody followed up. D-Rock followed up and said, "How do you assess the first year of Press?" And you'll hear this later on our program. We'll have it for you. But he said he did fine. He said it wasn't about play calling. And Doug has said that has been his point all. Whether you agree with him or not, that's been his point all along. We'll talk about that in a bit. Tank Bigsby is a big part of this future. I believe that. He's a downhill runner. He's a big physical downhill runner. He is the one player that brings that. They did not trust their line enough, I don't think, to give it to him. We were talking about it during the break on 3rd and goal or 4th and goal. And Trevor checked out of the one. The first one was a pass play that I don't think checked out of. I think that's just what they called. Neither one of those worked. Nonetheless, the first-year player out of Auburn, a big part of their future. Hayes caught up with Tank Bigsby earlier today.
We're pleased to be joined with Jaguars running back Tank Bigsby here on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Man, it's great to talk with you. Thank you so much for your time. I know it's a tough morning, Tank, but how do you take stock of a rookie season? Because it seemed like you found some momentum there at the end.
Just continue being myself, staying who I am, and coming in working every day. So when I get the opportunity to be ready for it and put my foot forward, and that's what I did. Just stayed myself. I knew with this game of football, it's going to be adversity. Just try to capitalize the mistakes and don't make as many mistakes, but you're going to make mistakes because we're human. And, I learned from first year in the NFL, second year, I got a lot to bring. Just come to the table and do what I have to do.
The year is so complicated. You go right from college to the draft process to the NFL and learning a system. How much are you now looking forward to just being able to take a breath?
I'm so ready to take that deep breath. Been a long season, long off-season grind from the draft to here to now, everything. So now I just get to take a deep breath and recaps and just think about me and me and me, and then get back to work about this football and then get going.
What would be your advice to running backs that are now going to go through the process in terms of everything that they've got to mentally handle?
Running backs at our position, there's only being one running back on the field at a time. So keep your composure when you're not in the game, or not getting what you think you should get or you think you should be. Keep your composure and stay who you are every day. Don't change. And the NFL is all about character. Show them that you're the guy that they need to have, and bring your best self every day. So for the young guys that's getting ready for this draft, I could just tell y'all, get your head ready to work, and when you get an opportunity, take advantage of it, because in the NFL they do not come as often.
Absolutely. Pass protection can be so difficult, going to this level. What was that like for you this year, and will that be a point of emphasis for you in the offseason in terms of studying that?
Yeah, pass pro pretty easy. Just concepts, knowing when guys blitzing and everything, and the communication part by the center and the quarterback, and letting us know where we go. We get the call, we know where to go. Pass pro pretty easy. Just preparing for the game, for your head won't be everywhere. It's really nothing you can do as a rookie, because your head going to be there everywhere until the game that slows down to you. Mm-hmm. And just continue to stay you, because it's going to eventually slow down and you're going to start having fun.
Physically, do you feel like you're in a good place, as you go into the off season?
Yes, sir, I do. Physically, I am, and mentally, too. Just like I said, I'm always focused on being me and staying close to God no matter whatever I go through. And just continue to grind. That's all I know.
Tank Bigsby, thanks so much for your time. Enjoy your off season, and look forward to covering you next year.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's going to be a big year next year for Tank Bigsby. I'm sure he'll be the focal point of a lot of our conversations. Just 51 touches this season for Tank Bigsby. Some of that's his own doing because he was careless with the football early. Did seem like he found some momentum late, and hopefully that can carry him into a successful second year as he backs up ETN.
I thought he ran really hard every time he got the ball down the stretch, and I was surprised he didn't get a little bit more as far as the short yardage situations. But they have their reasons for that, and that's what we started talking this segment about is it play calling? Is it the lack of faith in the offensive line? Is it a combination of those things? And that's what they have to figure out because the training camp offense we saw was explosive, and they weren't able to really ever put that together in games.
3 things on Tank. Number one that went wrong, I think. Number one, he had ball security early on, and that scares you when a guy fumbles a lot. So that in training camp, preseason games early on. A. B, you asked him about pass protection. That was an issue for him early on. It was very clearly an issue for him early on. It was talked about. Couldn't even put him in on third down because he blew protection throughout the year, and he has to learn that, and he will learn that. Those are the first two. The third thing is when he kind of got comfortable and got beyond all of that, they weren't blocking anybody. So it's hard to put your downhill runner in the game when you're not going to be able to downhill run because you're not blocking anybody. You need your get-outside guy, your pass catcher. That's why Dearness Johnson played as much as Tank Bigsby down the stretch, I think, Hayes, is because the one thing Tank Bigsby does well, you didn't have the supporting cast, namely the offensive front, to do well. So I think all of that worked against Tank Bigsby playing, and I agree. I think he's going to be a big part of it moving forward. They got to get that line better.
Yeah, that's going to be priority number one this offseason is figuring out what they're going to do there. I mean, I say figuring out. You're cutting Brandon Sheriff, so you're going to get a new right guard, whether that's free agency or the draft, and you're going to have to bring in a veteran to supplant Luke Fortner. So center free agency, that's got to be a priority. They don't have to break the bank, but they need to bring in somebody that can at least deliver above-average football. Fortner will still be on the team. He's on a very economical deal, third-round pick. He'll be going into his third season. So, he's a good depth piece, but that's kind of what he is now. And until he improves, it's hard to envision him as the starter next year. And frankly, it's not just hard to envision. It would be a catastrophe if he is the starter week 1 next year by plan. If an injury occurs, that's one thing. But if the plan – as we sit here today, is the next time the Jaguars play a competitive football game, Luke Fortner is the starter. That is a bad plan.
Yesterday, here's what went wrong in my mind. And you're going to hear Doug Peterson. At 4 o'clock, you're going to hear a lot of comments from the coach. Number one, they were the less physical team. You saw that when Derrick Henry started the game. They were getting punched in the mouth. It wasn't just the offensive 3 guys. I don't think poor Devon Hamilton tried, but once the health thing happened with him early in the year,
he was a shell of himself.
He was not the same guy.
Honestly, they shouldn't have even been playing him. And they were making Angelo Blackson inactive, who was, I thought, pretty good in the first half of the season. So again, that's one of those that I think they mismanaged.
Hamilton wasn't very good because of the injury, because he played so well last year. Foley Fatukasi didn't play very well. He hasn't played great since he's been here. And Roy Robertson Harris, who had a very good year a year ago, didn't play well. So all 3 of those guys, that was problem number 1. The turnovers are a thing. Trevor's got to take better care of the ball. The turnovers are a thing. And young quarterbacks do that. I've noticed more interceptions in the league because I think people are taking more chances. I think Josh Allen's got a bunch. Mahomes, we were laughing about it last week. He's got to take better care of the ball. And he missed some throws. I mean, there were the ball to Zay Jones. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he thought Zay was running a deeper route or if the ball just slipped out of his hand. We can't have that. Can't have that pick. Not in the NFL. You can't have that pick, which was a real concern. But the biggest thing is physicality in the interior. Look, by the way, they're a relatively physical team at some other spots. I promise you, those 2 outside linebackers are physical. Does anybody have more physical outside linebackers? Not necessarily better, but does anybody have more physical 2 edge guys than Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker? I promise you Rayshon Jenkins is physical as a safety. I promise you Dewey is physical as a safety. I promise you that Foye Oluokun is a physical player. I think offensively Tank Bigsby's a physical player. I think ETN runs hard. He's not a big physical guy. I promise you Evan Ingram, as pass-catching tight ends, gets turned upfield and lowers that shoulder.
But if your lines of scrimmage aren't physical, it doesn't matter where you're physical elsewhere.
Correct. And that is what we saw. If your lines of scrimmage aren't physical, then it's hard, and that's where you got to get better. So We'll talk. Well, we got a whole off season, by the way, to talk about player procurement.
Unfortunately, that started now.
Yeah, and it has. And so we'll talk more about that coming up in a bit. But I want you to. We're gonna take a break because when we come back, I want you to hear some of the comments of Doug Peterson. He met with the media for. Is he still going, Hayes?
Yes,
he's still going. So he's about a half an hour in. We're going to hear a lot of those comments. After that, we're going to open up some phone lines to you. All Jaguars today, obviously. We will touch on Michigan-Washington at some point, but this is the day to look back at the Jaguars. I want you to be able to weigh in as well. More to come. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Yo, it's your boy E.T. and I'm back at it again with my instant reactions brought to you by none other than Brackish Vodka. Be sure to check them out on all social platforms. You never know what I'm going to do or say. That's E.T.'s Instant Reactions, powered by Brackish Vodka. Come on, somebody.
Hey, Jags fans. Renewal by Andersen is a proud partner with your favorite team. And they bring that same commitment to excellence to your home's windows and doors. With their advanced Fibrex material and energy-efficient glass options, their windows and doors are the perfect choice for your next home improvement project. Let them help you bring more light and life into your home. Schedule a complimentary consultation today. Renewal by Andersen, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CGC 1527613.
Bono's Pit Barbecue has been serving legendary barbecue in Jacksonville for 75 years. Frank Frangie here. Right now at Bono's, get 2 for $25. That's 2 entrees at $12.99 or less, and 2 homemade banana puddings for just $25. Whether you choose the ribs, chicken, turkey, pulled pork, or brisket, it's all locally smoked, and you can't find better homemade banana pudding. Dine in or take out, that's 2 for $25. And you already know, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Toilet or shower not draining? Water bill high? So many issues you want to cry? Call Mr. Rooter of Jacksonville. Have your number 2 business serviced by your number 1 plumber. Let us do your dirty work. Call us today.
Mr. Rooter. Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Underdog Fantasy. Look, your fantasy football season might be over, but you can still win money playing fantasy sports on Underdog Fantasy with their Pick'em game. All you do is pick higher or lower on player stats during the NFL playoffs to spice things up, and you can win up to 100 times your money if all your picks hit. Underdog is so easy to play, but it's even easier to get started. All you do, download their app or visit UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up using promo code 1010XL, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. They'll give you a special pick of higher than 1/2 total yard to use on your first Pick'em entry. Look, you know I love daily fantasy sports. It's why I play Underdog Fantasy. So sign up using promo code 1010XL to get that initial deposit bonus of up to $100. You must be 18 or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. If you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
When it comes to commercial fence services, Superior Fence and Rail has you covered. If your business needs automatic gates or security fence and railings, trust Superior with your next commercial project. Superior's team delivers great communication, high-quality products, and exceptional customer service. Just read any of their 2,300-plus reviews.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
With Christmas behind us in 2024 here, the last thing you want to hear is somebody trying to sell you something. That's why at Underwoods, we'd like to stop and just say thank you to all the people that came in our stores over the last year. Whether you bought from us or not, we want to thank you for stopping by and giving us the chance to help. You know, in Florida, there are a lot of people trying to sell you jewelry, but at Underwoods, we consider it an honor to have somebody come in and just give us that chance to help. And if we do a good job, we might get a chance to serve again. Having served North Florida since 1928, all of us here understand what a customer really gives us during that visit to Underwoods. Their trust. And it's up to us to do everything we can to keep it. So on behalf of everybody on the Underwood team, thanks again for coming into our stores. And we wish each of you a Happy New Year.
Now the Performance Painting High Performance Play of the Game. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
With the season on the line, Jacksonville needed a primetime performer to show up
and show out, and secret agent number 0 made sure to perform when the lights were on. In the second quarter, Trevor Lawrence would find Calvin Ridley for a 59-yard touchdown, making the score 10-7 with 12:24 left in the period. The Calvin Ridley score is your Performance Painting play of the game.
Hey everyone, Jason Parker, CEO of Performance Painting here. Does your commercial building or your home have a New Year's resolution to get a new look in 2024? Of course, I'm talking about a new paint job that'll make the Joneses want to keep up. And no matter who you hire to paint, make sure they explain the best paint quality options for your surface and the goals you have for your property. Learn more at performancepaintingjax.com or call today at 849-2499.
Performance Painting. It's Mike Dempsey. Instead of trying another diet or lose weight quick fad this January, why don't you succeed this year with Awaken 180? Proven, easy to follow weekly weight loss, and then receive free support for life online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Hayes Carline here. Rediscover the joy of hearing. Dr. Douglas Green and their expert team is offering a Here for the Holidays discount off hearing aids in December. Located near Town Center, visit Jacksonville Hearing and Balance or jhbi.org for a free consultation.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. It's getting chilly outside, but you can enjoy the outside inside with a new glass lanai from Lifetime Enclosures, or look ahead and get that backyard ready for spring with a new screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. Give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Wrestling is coming home.
Here in the shadows, the home of the Jaguars.
On Wednesday, January 10th.
The energy in this building is amazing.
Don't miss this elite homecoming celebration when AEW returns to Daly's Place.
Listen to the ovation.
We'll be there live when all your favorite AEW Dynamite and Rampage stars kick off 2024 with a bang. Don't miss Chris Jericho.
I'm one of the greatest to ever do this.
The Young Bucks, Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, Orange Cassidy, Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Jon Moxley, Chris Statlander, Eddie Kingston, Tony Storm. Sheeta, Swerve, Hook, the Rated R superstar Adam Copeland, Saraya, Darby Allin, The Acclaimed.
Everyone loves me.
And be there live to pay tribute to the icon Sting. Don't miss AEW's homecoming celebration at Daly's Place. Tickets are on sale now. Go to AEWTix.com. Card subject to change.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. Tonight is the National Championship of College Football. Number 1 Michigan against number 2 Washington. Huskies quarterback and Heisman Trophy finalist Michael Penix Jr. on playing in the National Championship tonight.
Man, it's a dream come true, to be honest. You know, I'm still wrapping my head around it. Just super blessed to be in this position. You know, this is something that, you dream of as kids, coming to play for the national championship. But obviously we got to make it happen.
Washington quarterback Michael Penix Jr. Kickoff of the national championship game tonight at 7:30. It's 63 degrees at 4 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
We do thank our friends from the Best Bet. They do a fantastic job. 3 outstanding locations: St. Augustine, Jacksonville, and Orange Park. My goodness, they're a great sponsor for this radio show. Good folks and a wonderful sponsor. You'll love the folks over there. Now, coming up on Wednesday, the $280 No Limit Hold'em Satellite into the Winter Open main event. That's at 3 o'clock. By the way, that song said our friend Reed Parman YouTubing, didn't it?
That's right.
Reed Reed heard Dancing in the Dark, went YouTube is what he did.
I think that's a very smart move.
Yeah,
You need to learn your music history.
All right, so Reed is the owner of Big Chief Tire, one of the all-time good guys. So, but we do want to thank our friends from the Best Bet. The Best Bet always our sponsor on a Monday. The Winter Open Series at Best Bet Jacksonville, by the way, starts on January 18th. January 18th through the 29th. So that Winter Open, the satellites, the big event, all happening at 3 locations. That's in St. Augustine, that is in Orange Park, and, of course, Jacksonville. That location is on Monument Road. Some comments from Doug Peterson. One question he was asked is, of all the things you want Trevor to work on, the Trevor turnovers, where does that rank on the list?
I think it is number one. I think it's the biggest thing, that he has to focus on, moving forward. We just can't have, this amount of turnovers, how we turn the ball over, where we turn the ball. It doesn't matter. We got to protect the football. It's the number one thing.
And they didn't turn the ball. They didn't take care of the football this year. It's one of the worst things with the football team. And Doug said he realizes that this year, that football team, it was a real problem.
I think we're going to probably end up 29, 30, 31, somewhere down there, in giveaways. And that also doesn't take into consideration the turnover on downs, too. Those are giveaways as well. So, but yeah, for the quarterback, obviously, the person that touches the ball every snap, we got to make sure that the emphasis is taking care of the ball.
And you'll hear more comments from Doug coming up a little bit later on. All right, let's look forward a little bit. The elephant in the proverbial rooms of Jaguar fans is, because we talked about this with Napier so much, is offensive coordinator and general manager. I don't get the sense listening to Doug Peterson today that his offensive coordinator is going anywhere. He said he was asked point blank how Press Taylor did. He was no one was asked point blank by Mia if he considered taking the play calling back. He said no. He was asked by D-Rock how Press Taylor did. He said, I thought he did well. Whether fans like it or not, I don't get the impression, Hayes, that's changing a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that as well. I mean, I don't think Shad Khan, it starts with ownership. What kind of owner do you have? And Shad's not a meddling owner. And he's also not an owner where he lives and dies with how his football team does. He's got a ton of other interests, so he wants them to do well. But I think Shad Khan's going to view this as – I don't think he's going to view this as a disaster. They won 9 games. It's the third best year that he's had in his 12 years as owner. So, yes, it's disappointing that they didn't finish stronger and they didn't win the division and make the playoffs. But I don't think this is going to eat at Shad Khan for very long, to the point where he's going to be bringing Doug Peterson in and demanding changes or firing his general manager. I could be wrong, and owners evolve, but I would be surprised if ownership is going to demand or make changes. So it starts there. So any change is going to be up to Doug Peterson. And, I mean, again, he lost his job with the Eagles because of his allegiance to Press Taylor. So it's disappointing to hear that comment is saying Press Taylor did good, because he didn't do good. The offense didn't do good. Doug Peterson didn't do good. No coach on offense did good. And I'll do a hammer time later in the show and break this down with more data to give you. But they were worse in every category. So you can't get up there today and say Press Taylor did a good job. You also then can't get up there and talk about Luke Fortner as a foundational piece of this thing, like he did, and defend. And no, it's something has to be to blame. Because otherwise you're just going to end up right where you were next year if you don't make significant personnel or coaching changes. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't think they should stick with the status quo. I mean, I don't think Press Taylor should be the offensive coordinator. I don't think he should be the play caller. I didn't think that week one when they blindsided everybody with it before the Colts game, and I don't believe it now. And they regressed. They wanted to gain a touchdown. Their mission was to gain 6 points. They had averaged 23.8 last year, and they wanted to get that into the high 20s. They averaged 22.2. So not only did you not get your 6 points, you went backwards. And, and then so that's fine. If you're going to say it's not Press's fault, Press called good plays, they just weren't blocked. Well, then you can't 5 minutes later then defend your offensive line and defend Luke Fortner and say that, we got to stay healthy. And I mean, so it's disappointing to hear that, because what this tells you is that it is going to, I mean, there could be a change at receivers coach or something like that. But in terms of something that is high up on the organizational chart, I do not think the Jaguars are going to have any changes. I could be wrong, and I think it's a huge mistake, because why would any time in professional football there is regression when there shouldn't be? I mean, you added Calvin Ridley, added him, and you were worse on offense across the board, and your quarterback didn't get any better. Your quarterback regressed. So I don't know how you just say, well, we're fine on offense from how we're managing it, how we're calling it, how we're practicing it. I don't know how you can look the paying fan in the eye and say, we're good with what we're giving you right now. We don't need to make changes to our operation.
Yeah, I think you should evaluate the general manager and figure out if these draft picks the last 2 seasons have made your team a lot better. I think there's a lot of issues with certain players picked. And then I think certainly the offense, and Frank, to your point, fans also want the defensive coordinator fired, because fans want everyone fired when there's a loss. But as far as Press Taylor, we watch a lot of NFL games. How many times do you see with other teams, other good teams, do you see multiple times per game the quarterback and the receivers or tight end or running backs look at each other like they weren't on the same page? Multiple times per game that's happened with this team, and this is the second year under Doug Peterson and Press Taylor. And so, right, I do believe changes need to be made, but I don't think they will be.
Here's my guess, that the Press Taylor will call the plays, as he did this year, whether fans want him to or not. That's my guess. The other question, I'll get to personnel in a minute. The other question is Trent Baalke. I'll start with you, Lauren. Do you think Trent Baalke will be back? Do you think he should or shouldn't be back?
I think
that's the two. The
Sure.
fans are talking a little bit about Caldwell, but mostly they're talking about Press and Baalke. Those are the two guys who were trending the most on Jags Twitter.
I suppose, yeah. I guess in watching yesterday's game, the main things to me were the run defense and the fact that Mike Caldwell didn't make adjustments. But either way, as far as Trent Baalke, yes, I think he'll be back. No, I don't think he should be back, because it seems like some of his selections did not help the team, whether it's last year or this year. And I think he made some good picks, but if you look around the league, I think other teams have drafted a lot better than this team has.
Here's my thought. I don't see those kind of major changes. I could see some assistant coaches not being brought back. Doug didn't say that wasn't going to happen. He said, I need to think through it. We just got here. So I could see that. I don't think that. I do believe this. I do believe you'll have new linemen next year. I'm a big believer that your defensive front might look entirely different next year. I'm a big believer in that. I'm a big believer that your offensive front might have new personnel. I think Ezra Cleveland will be on your offensive front somewhere. I think Anton Harrison will be on there. Wouldn't be surprised if it was left tackle. After that, I'm not completely certain that you don't see a lot of changes. I would be. I understand Luke Fortner is a foundational piece, as Doug said, but I'd be a little bit surprised if they don't address that. I'd be a little bit surprised if they don't address right guard. I'd be a little bit surprised if. Do you think they're bringing Cam back?
No.
Because he's under contract. You'd have to cut him. I think the plan all along is probably not to bring him back, to move Anton over there to the left side and play Walker a little on the right side. I wonder if all this makes you rethink that a little bit, but I would guess you're right. I would guess it's Anton. I'm going to guess Anton Harrison goes to left, Walker Little plays right, and Ezra Cleveland plays left guard. And then they've got to make a decision about right guard. That's my decision, my thinking. But I think the defensive front is going to look entirely different. That's what I think they're going to change more than anything else. That's my guess at what you see. I think the 2 inside linebackers and the 2 outside linebackers are the same. I think Tyson Campbell and Darius Williams are outside. I could see a change at safety because Antonio Johnson's the guy you need on the field, and Rayshon Jenkins is going to cost you. But I could see that.
Now, Roy Robertson-Harris, when they extended him this offseason, they gave him a 3-year deal. Does that mean he's for sure starting for the next couple seasons?
I think not
At least
the
next
next
season.
couple, but I would think the next season that he's in a pretty good position to be back on the team in his role now. So, it's obviously. I mean, I think in looking at it, it is going to be more of the blame is going to be put more on the personnel than it is on the decision makers, and we'll just see. That again, they've won 18 games in the last 2 years, 19 if you count the playoff game last year. So it's not radical change necessarily that's needed, but you do have a window here. Doug said it. The window is now. Well, I think what this does is it puts everybody on a 1-year contract, Doug Peterson included. I mean, I think now in 24, you have got to get back to the playoffs. You've got to be very competitive in the division again. The division will be viewed differently because everybody's going to pick Houston to win the South next year. And there will be even some that I'm sure pick Indianapolis over the Jaguars because they're going to look at it and say, hey, the Colts won 9 games with their backup playing 15 games. Or starting 15 games. So if you believe in Anthony Richardson, if you believe Richardson's 2 games better than Minshew, then you're going to think, I think the Colts can win 10 or 11 games. So, the Jaguars are not going to have near the expectations this coming season nationally and locally, after what they've put on the field over the last 6 weeks. But in looking at it, it's going to be blamed on the personnel, I hope. Because it's got to be better in the interior offensive line. I mean, and again, you have a 17th pick in the draft. You're going to have a little bit of free agent ability to sign people, and so that's where the focus should go. Again, it's not what I think more should be done, but I don't think the owner is going to demand it or make it, and I don't think the head coach is either.
All right, so we will take a break. When we come back, I want to open up phone lines to you. Later on, you're going to hear some more from Doug Peterson, 3 or 4 more issues or 3 or 4 more comments from the head coach. But I do want to open up the phone lines to you. 641-1010. What do you think the Jaguars should have done? What are your concerns, your take on the season? We'll do a segment of phone calls, 641-1010. That's after this on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
They'll wear the helmets.
They should be fun to watch.
It's up to you if you want to wear the heels.
Helmets and Heels with Lauren, Taylor, and Mia. Driven by Tire Outlet.
And presented by Underwood Jewelers.
And First Coast Lighting and Fans. Tuesday nights at 6 on 1010XL.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
A new vehicle. Come to Key Buick GMC where we never have markups on our vehicles. In addition, Key Buick GMC is the only Buick GMC dealer with a lifetime powertrain warranty on all new Buicks and GMCs. It's a new year. Time to do some service checkups. Key has oil changes specials on most vehicles plus a tire match guarantee. Please check out our service specials at our website. Go to KeyBuickGMC.com. We're always professional grade on the corner of Southside and Gate. KeyBuickGMC.com.
Get into your comfort zone career at AC Designs. We're hiring certified HVAC technicians and offering up to $2,000 in sign-on bonuses, paid time off, and paid holidays. Voted Jacksonville's best AC and heating company. We're the family-owned business you can call home. Join our team with paid health benefits, 401k matching, competitive pay, and more. Apply online at acdesignsinc.net/careers.
Hicken here as we bid farewell to the old and welcome the new. Let's make it a year of clear vision and bright smiles. You see, Bowden Eye & Associates understands the importance of healthy eyes and clear sight. They're here to help you see the world in all its vibrant glory. Picture this, a year filled with laughter, adventure, and crystal clear vision. Routine eye exams or advanced vision correction procedures, they got you covered. Call or visit them online today to schedule your personal consultation. Bowden Eye & Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Brackish Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is the smoothest local vodka you can find. Made right here in Jacksonville, Florida, 100% from corn, Brackish Vodka is the local gluten-free choice. Brackish Vodka, for those that live life slightly salty, a proud partner of the Jaguars. Enjoy Brackish Vodka in your favorite cocktail with a delicious pie. Brick Oven Pizzeria.
Wondering what you're going to do for dinner tonight? Southern Steer Butcher is a full-service butcher, and we grind and make sausage in-house every day.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Folks, the First Coast has voted. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is proud to be chosen as Bold City's best in 4 categories: Best Orthopedic Practice, Physical Therapy, Pain Management, and Foot Care Clinic. For the last 30 years, JOI has continually strived for the highest level of orthopedic surgery and rehab care. As the needs of the community evolve, so will they. That's why coaches, parents, and athletes choose JOI. Call them at JOI 2000 or visit JOI.net. JOI, where the pros go.
Get a free mulligan every Tuesday morning.
Check this out.
And free advice from PGA pros.
Now, this is what we're looking for, huh?
Brunch with the Tour.
Brought to you by Clearwater Irrigation. 8:30 Tuesday morning on 1010XL.
With Christmas behind us in 2024 here, the last thing you want to hear is somebody trying to sell you something. That's why at Underwoods, we'd like to stop and just say thank you to all the people that came in our stores over the last year. Whether you bought from us or not, we want to thank you for stopping by and giving us the chance to help. You know, in Florida, there are a lot of people trying to sell you jewelry, but at Underwoods, we consider it an honor to have somebody come in and just give us that chance to help, and if we do a good job, we might get a chance to serve again. Having served North Florida since 1928, all of us here understand what a customer really gives us during that visit to Underwoods. Their trust, and it's up to us to do everything we can to keep it. So on behalf of everybody on the Underwood team, thanks again for coming into our stores, and we wish each of you a Happy New Year.
Malfunctions in your electrical panel can lead to hazards like fire or power outages, leaving your home at risk. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
888-8-Sparky. Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
Were you forced into a nosebleed mortgage rate in this past year? Loan Pronto is here to rescue you. Hey, it's Prosser. Listen, if your mortgage rate is over 7, you're going to be in heaven with Loan Pronto's zero-cost refi. You can cut your house payment by hundreds of dollars and even do it with zero closing costs and no appraisal. Rates have plummeted to the lowest point in nearly 12 months, and it's time to say goodbye to that bad loan you got stuck with. Loan Pronto's got APRs with fixed rates in the 5s. So don't live with that record high a day longer. You can lock in a lower rate now with virtually no paperwork or cost involved. Call now and see how much lower you can get your house payment. Refi now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call for a free 30-second quote, 904-999-1508. At loanpronto.com, you can find out more. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Did you see Super 70's text or tweet about him?
I saw it was like, who's better, Simon LeBon or who was the other guy? It was funny.
I'm trying to remember who the other one was.
Because it's not like it's another 80s.
Yeah,
it's not like Billy Idol.
Sports guy. Hang on.
Yeah, it's like two guys that have no business being in a poll together.
Who had the better careers?
Yeah, it was like Simon LeBon and like Karl Malone.
Yeah, I got it. But now I can't stop myself now because it was freaking hilarious.
It was hilarious, but I can't. And I didn't vote in it, so I can't go back to my Twitter and just find what I did.
I'll find it at some point, by the way. But it was who had the better career?
Simon LeBon, the lead singer of Duran Duran.
Right.
Just so everybody is.
And it was
all
somebody.
on the same
And by the way,
page.
it was a tough vote. I don't remember who it was, but it was.
But I just remember it was like one of those things that I laughed at because you're expecting.
Because he's so random.
Yeah, it was just like you couldn't have picked two more random '80s people and said who was better.
I can't find it, but I'm
yeah. Well, maybe he deleted it.
I'm going to find it. He never deletes. Let's we want to know what you thought. The Jag season ended at 9-8. Let's take some phone calls. Let's start with Mike. Mike, you're up first. How you doing, Mike?
Good afternoon. I'm doing good. How y'all doing this Monday?
What's your thought on it, Mike?
All right, this is my thought. Just hear me out a little bit. Oh, please. I think, personally, I feel that the writing was on the wall about this team and the fortitude or lack thereof was the Buccaneer game. Because I look at Cincinnati, Trevor got hurt. A lot of people, bad luck. Between the Browns and the Ravens, that's just how the schedule's set up. And it was just going, Cleveland's a good defense, playoff team. Baltimore's rolling everybody. So that's just how the schedule's set up. The Buccaneer game, when they were down 20-0, that should have been the writing on the wall as far as the lack of urgency or just the mental toughness of the team, because it didn't matter what happened at Carolina at that point. Because if you can't get yourself juiced up at the stakes and playing a team like the Bucs that are not they're not a great team, but if you can't get juiced up to beat that team, at that point, you couldn't get juiced up to play a Titans team, knowing that what happened last year and the motivation that they're going to have. So that's just my thought.
Mike, thanks for the call. Yeah, the writing was on the wall a little bit. Because that's a game I thought they'd go win, and they were rolled by the Bucs, no question. I mean, they rolled by the Bucs.
Yeah. By the way, how bad are the Carolina Panthers?
Wow.
I mean,
I know.
I'm pretty sure like the three of us, RJ. We could pick 18 people around the office, and we could go beat the Carolina Panthers.
Would you say you're calling you and me and 20 of our buddies? Or in your
yeah.
Like that? Let's go to Preston, who's up next. Hey, Preston.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
What do you think about all this, Preston?
This season ended week 2 when we played the Texans, when we got smacked at home when we let the freaking fullback go about 80 yards on us. First of all, that's a great sign of our special teams playing right there if we can't get down a fullback. Second off, the 49ers absolutely broke us. And that's going to be my whole thing. I'm a season ticket holder, and I have never been so upset after a loss after the 49ers completely smoked us at home when the stadium is about 75% red, 25% black and teal, and you got freaking 49ers fans running us out of the building. That's always awesome. Third of all, what do you do about Trevor Lawrence? Because I'm going to be honest, if this dude's playing the same way he plays here versus in New York, versus in Green Bay, versus anywhere else, he's on the bench. He's done. Look at Zach Wilson. Prime example. And, yeah, I am comparing Trevor Lawrence to Zach Wilson because, honestly, who cares? I mean, Trevor's not the answer as far as I'm concerned. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. This season, he definitely wasn't.
Preston, thanks for the call. Appreciate your comments. Trevor Lawrence is going to be the quarterback here. There's no debating that. I'll say it again. He's got to have better instincts. We all cited a lot of things. Throwing a pass inbounds at the end of the half with no timeouts, checking to a run play that's not going to work, not throwing the ball out of bounds when he should. His instincts have to be better. But Trevor, I think there's bigger problems than Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be fine, going to be the quarterback. The question becomes, can they protect him? I still think protection to me is the issue. Doug Peterson's going to speak to that. We got some of his comments. This comes up in a bit. Let's go back to the phones and say hello to Billy. Billy, what do you think about all this?
Well, I was completely devastated. I've been watching Jaguars since their inception. I'm a season ticket holder, first-year season ticket holder. I was at that Tennessee game, and I had so much high hopes for them. And honestly, I would get rid of the offensive and defensive coordinator. Honestly, I wish they'd have took Aiden Hutchinson instead of Walker. Their defense. I was listening to you earlier. They got to get more meat up front. They were getting manhandled out there. All them games like the 49er game, like the prior guy was talking about, the Tampa Bay game and this last game, they were just getting pushed around like they wasn't even there. I mean, they've got to, and their offensive line, I heard y'all earlier, you were exactly right. I mean, if you can't run the ball, so many 3rd and 1s and wearing the shotgun, I mean, what in the world? I mean, it's just completely aggravating is all I can say.
Billy, thanks for the call. I get it. Let's go to Darren, who's up next. Darren, what are your thoughts on all this?
Hey, guys. I felt like from the beginning of the season, my problems at the offensive line, and that did not change all year long. I felt like me and my whole family flew to Nashville yesterday just to have my ugly girlfriend break up with me, and made me kind of glad that it was over, and like, you know what, you're ugly anyway, but then at the same time, I'm emotionally in love with her, and then I had to ride home, and I've been sad all day long, bro. Y'all have a good one.
Quite the analogy, Darren. I'm depressed all over again. So there's that. Steve's up next. Steve, what do you think?
I think you got to fix the quarterback. I'm sick of all these excuses. Yeah, the offensive line is not good. We always hear about receivers running the wrong routes and everything else. Okay, there's about 15 quarterbacks I'd take over Trevor right now. Okay, you cannot turn the ball over 10 times in 4 games. Okay, he's a big reason why the offense didn't work this year. He's an average quarterback. As I totally agree, he's got terrible instincts. That's something you're born with. I don't know how much you improve that. I think we got just a guy, and I don't see I'm concerned about the quarterback.
All right. I appreciate your call, Steve. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that comment?
Yeah, I understand it. It was a dismal year for Trevor Lawrence, particularly considering a lot of people believed he was going to possibly be the eventual MVP this season, and to have 21 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and just a slew of problems, it is disconcerting for sure. I think what you're seeing with Trevor is he's still young. He's just turned 24. So, we have college quarterbacks that are that age. So I still think you're dealing with somebody who isn't close to the peak of his career. I also think that, and we've talked about this before, I think he went through such little adversity at Clemson that there's certain things on a football field that he just hasn't gone through like most quarterbacks would have. There's a lot of in-game situations, clock situations, that I just don't think he's had a lot of practice with, because in his career, he's played on dominant teams. Cartersville was dominant. Clemson, certainly, how many games did he lose as a starter at Clemson? Like 2, and they were in the playoffs. And a lot of those wins were blowout fashion. So I think at times, even the Jaguars are somewhat surprised at just the lack of general football knowledge that he has. But it doesn't seem like that's going to be a problem as it continues. It's like, okay, he goes through it, he learns it. It's bitten them. It bit them a lot this year. But I think, next season, I'm not worried about Trevor Lawrence throwing the ball inbounds when the clock's running, he doesn't have timeouts. I think he's not going to check to a sneak from a yard out. He tends to learn from his mistakes, but it almost seems like he was put in so few of those instances before he got here that the Jaguars are the ones having to pay for it. I still like Trevor as the quarterback. I think you're looking at years 25, 26, 27, the prime of his career. I think he's going to be fine, but you absolutely have to describe this as a disappointing year for him.
Will, you're up next. Let's go to Will. Hello, Will. What do you think about all this?
How y'all doing today, man? Hey, check it. I could go on and on about some of the bad things. You know, I just wanted to kind of focus more on the future. And in saying that, I think that we just got to work on that offensive line. I think the offensive line is key here. We got to get a defense. Those defensive sack numbers is so bubbled up to me because not one game did I say a quarterback should worry about the Jacksonville Jaguars pass rush. I never felt that at all. I mean, I see the sacks here and there, but it was never a threat when you can have Joe Flacco just sit back and throw when he wants to, right? But I just wanted to focus on what we need to do. I just feel like you got a lot of major moves and concerns need to make. The interior offensive line, interior defensive line, and that secondary needs to be taken care of. So it's just,
right.
We had a winning record. We got to be positive. That's 2 years in a row winning record. So let's just kind of focus on the positive, man. Love the show.
Will, thanks. We appreciate it. Will's talking about the positive stuff. It was back-to-back 9-8 seasons. Kevin, you're up next. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How are you? What's on your mind?
I'm great. Well, I'm not a Jaguar fan, but I watch them, and I'm always listening to the show. We're always saying, any team can beat any team on a given day. And Derrick Henry isn't chopped liver. I mean, he's a great back. That's what he does. Not all the time, but he does it. Trevor's going to be fine, I think. He's still learning the game and stuff, I'm like the last caller. Let's focus on the positive and stuff, because I think Jags are going to be okay. That's it.
Kevin, thank you for the call. We appreciate it. Let's say hello to Mary. Hey, Mary, how you doing?
Just fine, sir. How are you?
Fine. What do you think about all this, Mary?
Well, number one, I was absolutely crushed yesterday because we had so much hope at the beginning of the season. I know I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to get right to my point, and you guys can comment, afterwards. So, I know, Frank, I know you're old enough to remember Rick Meyer coming out of Notre Dame, and they had him just shy of the second coming of Christ, the media did. And the same thing happened to Trevor, and I think so much gets built up, especially in the media's worse these days now than it was back then. And I think we place so much on these young guys, and generational quarterbacks, and take us to the promised land, blah, blah, blah. And then when they don't meet expectations, or maybe they're trying so hard to meet expectations because of that, I think he's an amazing young man. I love the work that he does with the children's hospitals and everything. I don't think he's a generational quarterback right now. He's average. Can he get better? Yeah, but it's going to take a lot of work. And I think the team as a whole needs to do a lot of soul searching, because I go back to when the Gators lost to Ole Miss back in 2008, and Tim Tebow gave that speech afterwards, and it rallied the whole team. And I see no fire out of any single Jags player like that. And to me, the whole team owes the fans an apology for laying down the last 5 weeks and just kind of settling for mediocrity. Anyway.
Mary, I appreciate your call. Thank you very much. A lot of well-made points. One more caller. Let's get to Joshua. Joshua's the last caller we're going to take. Hey, Joshua. Do we have Joshua? Joshua, check out. All right. So great work by our callers. Mary, I appreciate your comments. Listen, let me go back to Trevor because people want to talk about Trevor. Trevor's going to be the quarterback here. You made the point, Hayes. He's going to be here for a long time. They're going to sign him regardless of when they sign him, whether it's this offseason, next offseason, regardless of what the dollars are. Trevor Lawrence is when you have a Trevor Lawrence, even if he doesn't play as well as you want, none of the 32 teams would move on from Trevor Lawrence. Let's be clear about that. I mean, well, they would if you had Joe Burrow. Well, if you had Joe Burrow, you wouldn't have Trevor Lawrence. So none of the 32 teams would move on from Trevor Lawrence. Trevor had some up, some down. I'm a big believer that a lot of it had to do with the protection. I thought he played through some injuries, but I also thought he played badly at times. His instincts have to get better. No team would, regardless of what you think about generational or not generational, no team would move on from Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the happy medium here is Trevor Lawrence is not a top 10 quarterback in this league. He's not close to it. He's not bottom 10 either. But he's probably somewhere in that 12 to 13 range, with the potential to obviously move up that list. But It was a bad year, but he's still absolutely the foundational piece to this whole thing. And I understand, people, Rick Meyer, I remember Rick Meyer, and, again, you're comparing a guy that was 50 touchdowns, 76 picks in the NFL. I mean, Trevor Lawrence isn't that. He's not a disaster. He's not Zach Wilson. He's not Rick Meyer. He's not a bust. Has it been as quick as you would like? No. But to say that there hasn't been promise that he has shown, I mean, that to me, I can't get with you on that point. I can't agree. Does he need to play better? Absolutely. He just turned 24 years old. I think he's going to get there. I think he is seeing a lot of this for the first time. And again, I think environmentally there are issues around him. I think offensively, from a schematic standpoint, they're in a tough spot. I don't like the play caller. I don't think Press Taylor did a good job. I don't think Doug Peterson should have allowed him to do it. I like Doug Peterson as a play caller. Obviously, the receivers had drops. There were injuries. The offensive line was a disaster. So, again, we haven't seen Trevor Lawrence get to the point where he can take an average player and elevate that player, and hopefully that day will come as he gets 28, 29, 30. So it's certainly fair to be disappointed about Trevor Lawrence's play. But to suggest that the Jaguars would be better off moving on without him and rolling the dice on J.J. McCarthy at pick 17, I mean, to me, you can't go down that road yet.
We'll take a break. We'll hear a few more comments from Doug Peterson after this.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
He graduated from JU and has his PhD in Jags.
Exactly what are you a doctor of?
Mike DeRocco is ESPN's Jaguar reporter, and we get his insight every Thursday from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. Brought to you by Lloyd's Heating and Air.
Were you forced into a nosebleed mortgage rate in this past year? Loan Pronto is here to rescue you. Hey, it's Prosser. Listen, if your mortgage rate is over 7, you're going to be in heaven with Loan Pronto's zero-cost refi. You can cut your house payment by hundreds of dollars and even do it with zero closing costs and no appraisal. Rates have plummeted to the lowest point in nearly 12 months, and it's time to say goodbye to that bad loan you got stuck with. Loan Pronto's got APRs with fixed rates in the 5s. So don't live with that record high a day longer. You can lock in a lower rate now with virtually no paperwork or cost involved. Call now and see how much lower you can get your house payment. Refi now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call for a free 30-second quote, 904-999-1508. At loanpronto.com, you can find out more. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
The Inflation Fighter is back and saving you thousands at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Mia here, and right now, 0 down and just $288 per month gets you a pre-owned 2021 Toyota Corolla. Or you choose a pre-owned 2021 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma for 0 down and only $388 per month. But Arlington doesn't stop there. How about no payments till May 2024 and Arlington's friendly Credit for Everyone program? Don't wait. Save thousands and shop arlingtontoyota.com today.
The new year is the perfect time to make sure that your roof hasn't been damaged after storm season. Schedule a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. And right now, get $250 off your new roof, plus flexible financing options. This offer expires January 31st and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. Now, the Tire Outlet Drive of the Game. Tire Outlet, wholesale prices, premium service.
Jacksonville never has to fear in late-game situations because their dynamic duo will always show grace under pressure. Trevor Lawrence led the Teal and Black on a 10-play, 63-yard drive, capped off with the Evan Ingram 14-yard touchdown, making the score 28-20 with 14:55 left in regulation. The 5-minute, 13-second drive is your Tire Outlet Drive of the Game.
Is your vehicle in need of some TLC?
Bring it to the experts at Tire Outlet. With over 40 years of experience and 15 locations across Florida, Tire Outlet is the brand you can trust. Our certified technicians do the job right to get you in and out in no time flat. Hurry in for great deals on tires and automotive service. We offer free tire rotations, free brake inspections, rebate offers on brand name tires, and a legendary price match guarantee on every set of brand new tires. Tire Outlet, wholesale prices, premium service.
Start your new year off healthy. Get screened at Ackerman Urology for common cancers of the prostate, bladder, and kidney. Early detection is key with 5 locations across Northeast Florida. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 8, 1993, Michael Jordan's game-high 35 points lead Chicago to a 120-95 win over Milwaukee, giving him 20,000 career points.
Happy New Year from everyone at Duck Duck Rooter. You know that plumbing issue you've been putting off? Go ahead and add it to your resolution list and let us help. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL is brought to you by Dandy Foods, makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. When researching any product or service, we want to know what other customers had to say about it. Were they happy? Did they receive the results promised? What if that company had a customer satisfaction score of 98%? I don't know about you, but for me, I'm in. Let's say you're searching weight loss programs. I'm sure you'd be satisfied with a company that had a 75 or 80% success ratio because, well, it's weight loss. Anything higher than 80% would be a shocker. Well, Awaken 180 clients give them a score of 98%. And we're not talking about 10 or 20 people. Awaken 180 has helped me and over 21,000 other clients achieve what no other diet, workout plan, or injection has been able to do before. 9 years, 21,000 clients, and over 700,000 pounds lost with the solution for weight loss. Do what Matt Hayes and I did. Succeed with Awaken 180 Weight Loss. 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 or reserve your consultation at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carlyon from MyBookie. It is time to gear up. The NFL playoffs are here, and it's time to get in on the action with MyBookie. Don't just watch. Score big with exclusive boosted odds and huge prize contests that'll have you feeling the Super Bowl fever before it even hits. Whether you're a seasoned pro or ready to roll for the first time, MyBookie is your ticket to turning your sports knowledge into cold, hard cash. MyBookie has the largest online lineup of odds, contests, and Vegas-style casino games, making it your ultimate destination for all types of fun, 24/7, right at your fingertips. If you've been waiting for the right time to get in on the action, the wait is over. Make your winning move today and sign up at MyBookie. Use promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit up to $1,000. That's right, 1010XL for an opportunity to boost your betting power. Join today, MyBookie. Be part of a winning team. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere.
Wrestling is coming home. Here in the shadows of the home of the Jaguars. On Wednesday, January 10th. The energy in this building is amazing. Don't miss this elite homecoming celebration when AEW returns to Daly's Place. Listen to the ovation. Will you be there live when all your favorite AEW Dynamite and Rampage stars kick off 2024 with a bang? Don't miss Chris Jericho. I'm one of the greatest to ever do this. The Young Bucks, Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, Orange Cassidy, Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Jon Moxley, Chris Statlander, Eddie Kingston, Tony Storm. Cheetah, Swerve, Hook, the rated R superstar Adam Copeland, Saraya, Darby Allin, The Acclaim. Everyone loves me! And be there live to pay tribute to the icon Sting. Don't miss AEW's homecoming celebration at Daly's Place. Tickets are on sale now. Go to AEWTix.com. Guard, something to change.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson held his end-of-season press conference with the media just a short time ago. Peterson was asked if he will make any changes on the coaching staff.
At this time, I haven't. I'm still processing everything, Obviously, we just finished the season, so I'm going to take the next little bit here and think about everything. Obviously with the way we finished and It's not where we want to be, obviously, and I got to take all this into consideration.
Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson this afternoon, courtesy of Jaguars.com. The Jaguars finished the season with a 9-8 record, starting out the year 8-3 and dropping 5 of their last 6 games. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show on this Best Bet Monday. The Jaguars lose to the Titans 28-20 yesterday. All right, did you think, by the way, at any point in time, Frank, that the Jaguars were winning the football game once it got to the fourth quarter?
That's a great question. I did hold out some hope.
Okay.
I think when Cisco intercepted the pass is the one time I had probably the most hope because I figured they were getting it in there. I figured – I didn't know if they'd get the 2-point conversion, but I figured they might strike quick, either get it tied at 28 or get it 28-26 and then have time to get a stop. And then I thought, okay, let's see how good the Titans are now when now they've got a little pressure on them. So I guess that was kind of my thought.
Yeah, I thought literally in real time, if Cisco doesn't run this all the way into the end zone, the Jaguars might not score.
What'd you think? Very cool.
Yeah, I had hope the whole time because you see it a lot of times. Bad teams find ways to lose games, and the Titans had dropped a punt that led to points right before the half, and then you have this. So it just felt like, and Tannehill I didn't think was playing particularly well. Like there were times where, I mean, they would do like play action pass. He was a sitting duck.
Right.
And unfortunately, the Jaguars couldn't knock the ball away from him when they sacked him. But so I kind of thought the whole time that the Jaguars were going to find a way to get it to overtime, and then you hope
somehow win the game.
Yeah, the ball bounces your way. So I didn't really give up hope until the fourth down where it was sealed.
The comments of Doug Peterson today, you've heard some. Let's hear some more. He was asked today, does he feel like this season is a step back?
Well, I feel fine moving forward. I just think how we finished the last 6 games of the year, how we did it, and we had opportunities to win these games. It wasn't like we were out of a lot of games, down the stretch here. It's we lost the game more than them winning the game, and that's really kind of been our season.
He also was said, look, this has got to motivate you. This has got to fuel you moving forward.
I think it is fuel and motivation for how we move forward. I think that, you're only as good as your last game, and we weren't very good yesterday. And it was kind of yesterday's 3 hours was kind of that snapshot of how our season has gone, especially the last 6 games. And it has to fuel. It has to fuel everybody's desire to want to win and to be great. And just can't let things. You can't let your preparation slip, as we talked about. You can't let a rep in practice go by without making sure it's done properly and all of that. And that's everybody. That's me. It's all the coaches, everybody together, making sure that doesn't happen.
He was also Press Taylor's been all in the news, or all in the opinions, I should say, not in the news, all over social. Doug was asked to evaluate the first year with his offensive coordinator, Press Taylor, calling the plays.
I thought it went good. I mean, can it be better? Yeah, it can be better. I think at times it's, when you struggle offensively like we did at times, I don't care who's calling plays. You might as well look at that thing with your eyes closed and just pick a play, quite honestly, because it's hard. It's difficult. I've been there. And, you're trying to find that one play or a spark that gets your offense rolling. And with the struggles that we had at times, that's a difficult thing to do, to try to, whether it's in the run game or the pass game.
And finally, we talked a lot, I know I have, others as well, about the problem with the offensive line. Doug was asked, do you need wholesale offensive line changes?
I don't think so. I just think we need to stay healthy. It's when guys are playing together for 3 games, it's not long enough because then we're making another switch, right? He gets hurt, and we got to make another. And then they're playing together for 3 or 4 more games, and then Cam's out for 4 games with an injury or something. And then, so the consistency and the continuity, that's what really drives the offensive line.
The comments of Doug Peterson. Interesting comments. I will say this. The worst thing he could do today in what could have been an emotional press conference is get up behind the podium and start ripping people. Start cutting, firing, and ripping. That's the worst thing he could do. I'm not totally convinced that there won't be a lot of changes on the offensive front. He said the right politically correct stuff here, and he's right. He's the one point he made. That offensive line wasn't together the whole very long. Cam Robinson suspended 4 games, then hurt for 4 games. Ezra Cleveland got here late. Ben Barch was going to be the left guard, never turned out. Walker Little went in there, got hurt immediately. Shatley's in and out of the lineup. The right side was there the whole time, though, and so was the center. Hayes, I'm not completely convinced. I think he said the right things today. I'm not completely convinced there won't be some personnel changes on that group. I'm just not.
My hope is that Doug Peterson is still in a state of shock, and that after a week of absorbing the colossal disappointment, that he'll have a fresher take on this, because it sounds like, well, everything's fine, and we'll get healthy and we'll come back next year and do it again, and that's just not going to be acceptable, and it's just not smart. I mean, so I get it. I'm sure Doug Peterson thought he'd be game planning for the Browns today, and he isn't. Instead he's being asked about what the next year's team is going to look like, and having to reflect. And I do think, being a former player, he is going to be reluctant to say, oh, yeah, well, we obviously need a new center and a new right guard, and, that'll be at the top of our list. I mean, I get that, but his answers today leave a lot to be desired in terms of what the early indication is on what the plan is moving forward. They have a play-calling issue. He can sit there and say all he wants that you could just randomly pick a play. You can't put all of this on the players. And then you can't then say, well, it's not even really on the players. It's the fact that we never had a consistent lineup. I can give you a mini pass on that to some extent, but you can't say that you went 1-5 because the offensive line went through some injuries and guys were in and out and only got to play together for 2 or 3 games at a time. It's not going to hold up. This was a monumental failure. A monumental failure that cannot result in the status quo. So again, I think they'll get there. I think it'll be different when we get to the combine. I think it'll be different when, you see what they do at the start of the new league year with free agency. Obviously, they're going to have a draft class. So I think they're going to get to where they need to get. The only benefit of the doubt I can give Doug Peterson is he's just still shell-shocked that his season's over and he's not figuring out how to stop Joe Flacco and score on Cleveland's defense.
And one thing you said earlier I don't agree with, Hayes. You said everyone's on a 1-year contract, including Doug. I don't think 9-8, win the division 1 year, miss it by 1 game the next year, and you're on a 1-year contract. I think Doug Peterson's going to be the coach here for a while. Now, we're in an age where no contracts are very long in any level of professional sports or high-level college sports. But I don't think there's any sort of a hot seat for Doug Peterson anytime soon.
I think if he misses the playoffs, he's in danger next year.
That would surprise me. You don't know. And also, and it's too early to say this, but I don't think they're going to miss the playoffs next year. Having said that, I didn't think they were going to miss the playoffs this year, and they did. So I could be wrong. But I don't think Doug Peterson's on any kind of a hot seat. I am interested in the player procurement side. I don't think Trenton Baalke's getting fired, but I do think there's going to be a long conversation about did we build the team the right way, because, and I'll stand by this, they're 1 or 2 more good linemen away from having a really good team this year. And they were 9-8. They barely lost a few games. This is golly, the NFL this year and the AFC particularly this year was anybody's to win. I'm not sure Baltimore's going to win the AFC. I'm not sure Buffalo is. I mean, I don't know. Most years I've been pretty sure Kansas City was going to win the AFC. They might not, but I was pretty sure they were going to. Before that, I was pretty sure the Patriots were going to win it. I'm less confident of anybody this year than I was the Patriots and the Chiefs all those years. So we'll see what winds up happening. All right, we'll keep it on the Jaguars. Johnny O's up here next. The final O show of the year is next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
The Gators are here.
Got it to beat the buzzer.
Florida basketball.
Chop this one up for the Gators.
Hear the Florida Gators all season on 1010XL, Jacksonville's Gators station.
Buying a car can be stressful, especially one sold as is or with no warranty. Do the 7, 10, or 30-day warranties leave you wondering what will happen on day 31?
Stop. Car buying doesn't need to be so stressful. Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet now offer the exclusive Beaver Certified program protecting your used car for 7 years or 100,000 miles. That's right. Certified Hondas, Fords, Nissans, and any other make you consider now come with the peace of mind you deserve. Shop worry-free at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World,
simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Stop stealing joy from loved ones by missing out on making memories because of your joint pain. PRPrelief.com has the answer. A local clinic with natural regenerative treatments. Go to PRPrelief.com today for your joint pain.
Men, are you suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? The medical providers at Prime Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. 98% of men see instant results on their first office visit. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Men are even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
But that's not all. For a limited time only, call Prime Men's Medical Center now, and your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hayes Carline here. Rediscover the joy of hearing. Dr. Douglas Green and their expert team is offering a Here for the Holidays discount off hearing aids in December. Located near Town Center. Visit Jacksonville Hearing and Balance or jhbi.org for a free consultation.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
All Elite Wrestling is coming home.
Here in the shadows of the home
on Wednesday, January 10th.
The energy in this building is amazing.
Don't miss this elite homecoming celebration when AEW returns to Daly's Place.
Listen to the ovation.
Will you be there live when all your favorite AEW Dynamite and Rampage stars kick off 2024 with a bang? Don't miss Chris Jericho.
I'm one of the greatest to ever do this.
The Young Bucks, Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, Orange Cassidy, Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Jon Moxley, Chris Statlander, Eddie Kingston, Tony Storm. Sheeta, Swerve, Hook, the rated R superstar Adam Copeland, Saraya, Darby Allin, The Acclaimed. Everyone loves me! And be there live to pay tribute to the icon Sting. Don't miss AEW's homecoming celebration at Daly's Place. Tickets are on sale now. Go to AEWTix.com. Card, something to change.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daly's Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Daly's Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daly's Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daly's Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. The Monday following the final day of the regular season is known as Black Monday around the National Football League, and there have been multiple changes in the NFC South. The Atlanta Falcons have fired head coach Arthur Smith after 3 straight seasons of 7-10. Smith failed to achieve a winning record in Atlanta after having 3 straight drafts with a top 10 draft pick. And it's a full reboot in Carolina, less than a year removed from having the top overall pick. The Panthers have fired head coach Frank Reich, and now they have fired general manager Scott Fitterer. Carolina was 2-15. It's 62 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller. More of The Frangie Show is next.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now it's time for the O Show with John Osher from Jaguars.com.
One last time.
Yeah.
Tough one the other day, Johnny.
What's that?
Tough game the other day.
Yeah, I mean, it's and usually joke about the email to start off with, but the emails, they're right. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I think I wrote it in Ozone Late Night or something like that. Look, there's no other way to describe this as a collapse and one of the worst losses in franchise history. When you go into a game with everything on the line against a team that is 5-11, and I know there's no such thing as a guarantee in the NFL, but you are supposed to win that game. And when you pile it on, it would have been bad either way, but then when you make it 5 out of your last 6, it's as bad a loss as I can recall covering.
Doug talked today, and he's mentioned it at times this season, about almost like a disconnect with the players in terms of sense of urgency. He talked in his presser today about a Week 2 game against the Chiefs and how this will have playoff implications, and it's like it just didn't resonate with them. He talked about it Week 3, he said, against Houston. is that just a growth thing for this team? I mean, how can
You hope so.
can that be fixed?
Well, I mean, I think it has to be fixed with, teams change every off season, so naturally your dynamic of what they call the rooms change, the meeting rooms. And when he talked about urgency today, he talked about it in two ways. First of all, that the urgency, that the window's now. They believe they have a chance to still go win this basic group. But I think when he's talking about urgency, it's valuing every day, valuing every possession, valuing every game, understanding how hard it is to beat any team in the NFL, and that every team can beat you. Every play is going to matter. He preached for 6 or 7 weeks about pre-snap penalties, turnovers, missed assignments, the whole list we've all heard. And I think it's safe to say that it never got resolved. It never got reached, whatever that is. I can't answer it because he sure couldn't. But I know that was a season-long thing that they just never got, that urgency, that grab it, whatever it is. And it told the story of the season.
How much blame goes on the offensive line versus the quarterback when we talk about the offense not performing up to expectations?
Well, to me, the running game all season was the key to the whole thing. And when I say the running game, if there was a microcosm yesterday, it was 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. You didn't feel like you could say, we're not doing anything except running the ball in the end zone here. And how many games, I can't point to any game in particular because I'm not looking at the schedule right now, but how many times during this season did they drive past the 50, get to the 37-yard line, 3rd and 1, boom, boom. And when you don't threaten the defense with the run, it's very hard to make anything else work. It's why red zone was bad. It's why third down conversions were bad. It's why you never got clicking because you could never depend on that. So offensive line, whatever. Quarterback wasn't good down the stretch. I think a lot of the last 5 or 6 weeks, he has turnover issues anyway. I think it compounded with lack of practice and lack of turnover. And lack of health. But I think overall, the fact that you never felt comfortable controlling the line of scrimmage, I think set the tone for the whole season.
John, I think this. I want you to weigh in on this. And I'm not, look, Trevor's instincts have to get better.
Mm-hmm.
You can't throw the ball and let a guy get tackled in bounds when you're out of timeouts and there's 10 seconds left in the half. You can't throw a crossing route, to Lauren's point earlier in the show, on 4th down to a guy that's 5 yards behind the sticks.
Right.
You're checking out a wrong play. His football instincts. He's a young guy still, but they have to improve, and I think they will improve. He throws too many interceptions. He turns the ball over. He forces things. But having said all that, here's one of the reasons I'm still so high on him and what he will be. Number one, he's got all the stuff, hardware and software. But you said it. It's hard to quarterback in this league, period. It's really hard when nobody respects your run game or your run blocking.
Yeah.
When everybody knows you can't run it, play action does nothing. There's no play action opportunities if nobody respects the running game. And I think the protection, having to move around the pocket, knowing they couldn't run at all, had to have some effect on his productivity. It just had to.
Well, then you're always dropping 7.
Right, correct.
Because you never worry about the run. Your attitude going into a game is, okay, you might pop 1 or 2 on me. You're not going to beat me running.
Right.
And until you show me you can, I don't care if you run.
Yeah, and I'm dropping 7. I think that's been
so that
or you send 7 because you know the offensive line isn't very good. So even when backs are staying in the block,
right?
I
think the biggest. I've been hearing every other email I get. What in the world was that play calling on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1? I don't know that I'd have called different plays because I don't know that I would have believed that a running play was going to work there.
See, here's my take on that.
So that's where
I agree with that overall point. At that point, I would have given the ball to Tank Bigsby a couple times just to know.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, I'm not sure it would have worked.
Right.
Because that line might have gotten blown up both times. But so in that time, I would have done that. But I'm certainly not convinced they would have done it. They would have made it from the 1 yard line.
Are you concerned about Press Taylor remaining as the play caller?
No. I mean, I don't think, from listening to Doug, from watching it, I don't think Doug has any thought that he called plays very much different than Doug would have this year. So I would be very surprised if he made a change with that.
Do you think that there will be any changes as far as coaches are concerned?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Doug didn't really address that today when he talked. It was more of, I've got to get through, and I forget how he used it, but he said basically he's got to let the season decompress a little bit and think about it. When you lose 5 of 6, it's hard to, in this day and age, it's hard to stay status quo moving forward. I have no feel for what that might be, but I'm not sure Doug necessarily knows yet. So it's hard to answer.
I believe Doug doesn't know yet. He said he's been a pretty honest guy. He said, listen, it just ended. I haven't evaluated all that
right.
yet. Same question, because this won't be Doug's call. Trent Baalke is the other name. Trent Baalke and Press Taylor are the names that had to show up in your emails 1,000 times. Is Trent Baalke in any danger of not coming back?
I don't really know. I mean, it's
I don't either. I hear you. But
yeah. So, if I had a feel for it, my thought on Trent, and I've said this, privately and publicly, it was a heavy lift in 2020 and 21 to get where this team is. The criticism is overspent in free agency, et cetera, but you had to overspend in free agency to get them out of the depths of talent. So transitioning from that to draft and develop, I think overall, I don't know what should or shouldn't happen, and I don't know what will happen, but I do know that overall the talent improved from 20-ish to whatever. So I guess I just don't know how to answer it.
We'll take a break. When we come back, one more segment. Let's look ahead to what they need to do in the offseason. Johnny O is here at the O Show. One more segment. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Defending against an attack is a critical part of security.
Turnover!
And the defensive player of the game can help secure a victory.
Now we got to play D, boys.
After the game, catch the superior fence and rail defensive player of the game on 1010XL.
Nimnick Buick GMC is proud to be the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Frank Frangie here. They're committed to providing the best selection of Buicks and GMCs for you to choose from with a best price guarantee. Nimnick has been in business for over 81 years because they've been doing business the right way. Stop by Nimnick Buick GMC on Phillips Highway, just south of I-295, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com. That's Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
This is Hayes Carlyon for Register Sausage. Fantastic news, as you can now find delicious Register sausage at Publix or Winn-Dixie. Starting 82 years ago in Mariana, Register's is the premier smoked pork sausage of the Southeast. Whether it's for a quick breakfast or dinner with the family, Register's provides the variety and quality that is worth your hard-earned money. Register's premier smoked pork sausage, taste the difference. Pick up your Register sausage at Publix or Winn-Dixie today, or find them online at registermeats.com.
Make a crucial catch against colon cancer. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. If you're 45 or older, the ball is in the red zone to get screened. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. 45 is the new 50. Get screened for colon cancer now. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
Jacksonville's building a fence along the goal line. This is the Superior Fence and Rail Defensive Player of the Game. Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
Josh Allen was a monster in the Volunteer State. The former first-round pick tallied 5 tackles against the Titans, with 2 being solo, and he added 1 sack to his stat line. In a year where he's looking to make big money this offseason, Allen was certainly money for Jacksonville in the contest. Josh Allen is your Superior Fence and Rail's defensive player of the game.
Superior Fence and Rail knows about exceptional customer service. From the first call to the final inspection, Superior's team provides first-class care with great communication, friendly installers, and quality fence products. There's a reason why Superior is the top-rated fence company in Jacksonville. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your new fence today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
At Golden Hammer Roofing and Gutters, you get the golden standard in roofing. They can do 99% of home roofs in just 1 day. No construction activities lingering around for an extended period, allowing you to resume your normal activities. Plus weather protection. You minimize the risk for rain or weather damage during the construction process. Call or visit to find out if they can do your roof in just 1 day.
Golden Hammer Roofing and Gutters.
Golden Hammer!
The golden standard in roofing.
Hey, it's Angela and Brian Wall. How many companies do you know in this day and age that actually want their potential customers to call their competition and get quotes from them?
That's what Window World wants you to do. Window World knows there are other window companies out there, but we also know those other guys. When compared to Window World, they can't offer you the quality at the price that Window World can.
And with Window World, you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement business.
If anything goes wrong with your new Window World windows, 5 years from now, 10, 15, 50, Window World and I will be there to fix it for you. You get peace of mind with Window World, and to top it off, Window World windows increase the value of your home. So look what you get with Window World. Quality windows, low price, the best guarantee in the business, energy savings, and an increase in the value of your home. A win-win for you.
Call Window World today and get your free in-home estimate, or see them online at windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Fish are good at hiding. Captain Kevin can help you find them.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Find more fish on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show.
Thursday nights at 6.
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss on 1010XL AM.
Hey, Matt Hayes here. You can't control the weather, but at Fenwick Home Services, we make sure your home is comfortable all season long. Whether it's time for a tune-up, a repair, or a system upgrade, our expert technicians will guide you to a custom comfort solution that gives you peace of mind. We are always available with same-day, 24/7 service. And to get you through the rest of the season, we are offering $50 off any repair. Plus, get comfort on your terms with flexible finance options. Your comfort is our priority. Schedule your visit online at FenwickHomeservices.com/radio.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
To get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, Dan. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Ray Frangie, Hayes Carline, Lauren Brooks, R.J. Saunders, John Ozier with us. One more segment of the O Show. Then it's over. Then it's all over, John. It's all over.
Yeah, it's When it ends in this league, it ends fast.
Yeah. And that boy, that's the case. Okay, we look forward. The season's over. They lost the game. I'll tell you what I said. If it was me, and by the way, explain the Ridley thing to me. If they try and keep him, what do they owe the Falcons? Do we know yet?
If they sign him to a long-term extension, it's a second-round pick.
It is a second-round pick.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a second. So is it a second-round pick next year? That's
Yes.
what it is?
Yes.
Okay, so if they
they're not going to sign him to an extension.
You wouldn't think you would do that. But so he becomes a free agent. They can still re-sign him.
Yeah,
and they could tag him if they re-sign Josh Allen.
Okay, right.
Then you can use the tag on Calvin Ridley.
Because here's what I will tell you.
And I wouldn't be averse to sign him to an extension.
And even give up the second-round pick.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
To me, the second-round pick, if you told me that I'd be guaranteed of
I hear you.
My second-round pick getting the production you got from him this year.
Yeah. 1,000 yards.
Yeah. So I wonder where you get that. If you go pick a guy in the second round, are you sure you're getting that sort of danger?
And he's going to be better next year, you would think, because he didn't play for a year. I agree with you. I would like to see Ridley, Kirk, Zay Jones, Ingram, Trevor, and Travis all back together again.
Mm-hmm.
I would improve the interior of the offensive line.
Yep.
That would be the one thing I would do. I would improve the interior of the defensive line. And other than that, I think they've got a pretty good football team. I think those are the two things to me. Now, listen, if Rayshon Jenkins is too expensive, you pay Antonio Johnson. Play Antonio Johnson. There's some little stuff. But I think other than those two interiors of the lines, I don't think I'd make massive personnel changes. Would you?
Yeah.
Forget about Trent and Press because that's what
Sure.
everybody wants to talk about.
Yeah.
Personnel stuff.
I think I would, considering where they are in their careers, meaning the skill guys, you'd have to talk me out of an offensive lineman every time I'm picking early.
Yeah, so I totally agree.
Now, I'm
totally
exaggerating that. Obviously, you're not going to.
No, but I totally. But I agree
that's
with the
sort
sentiment.
of my feel. Is now if there was a defensive interior guy that you thought was special, and special always trumps anything in the first couple rounds. If all of a sudden the board falls to you and you think you have special guy, well then you take special guy because it's impact. But philosophically, offensive line.
Yeah, Hayes, if I told you, to John's point, if I told you they signed 2 offensive linemen in free agency and 17 overall is either an offensive or defensive interior guy and 48 overall is, you'd probably be okay with that.
I think you have no choice because you spent this past draft class on some luxury items in the second and third round, and so you can't do that again. I mean, you've got to go get meat and potatoes, trenches players, on both sides. I mean, I'd be fine either way. If 17 is a defensive tackle and the second round player is a defensive, that's fine. I mean, as long as the offensive line gets addressed, in free agency, but. I think in looking at it, they've got some flexibility in terms of how they want to go about it, and they can play the board and see what's out there in free agency first. But, yeah, I mean, I don't see how any ammunition of any consequence at all this offseason isn't directed at somebody that is a minimum 260-pound player.
Yeah, I again, when you're talking about this right after the day after the season, it's always tough because you don't know how free agency is going to look, and I haven't studied enough to know, okay, are there mid-level free agents that could supplement things? But philosophically speaking, interior of the lines.
Have the Jaguars had success finding an offensive lineman through free agency? It doesn't feel like they have.
Well, Sheriff, who...
Yeah, Sheriff.
I mean,
okay.
Leon Searcy, if you're going way back.
Yeah.
But in this recent incarnation.
Like, Sheriff wasn't as good as what we expected.
Yeah, Norwell didn't turn out to be good. Sheriff was
Beatles.
good, not great. The right guard are the only 2 they've tried,
it's
right?
Hard, I mean,
Isn't that right? That's the only 2 they've really tried.
It's a position that's difficult because most positions fall into this, but to me, offensive line really does. If they're really, really good,
right,
teams want to keep them. Whereas with defensive line, sometimes you can get guy who's not a great scheme fit, and you're rotating a little more, so you can get. They've had more success with that position because it's a little easier to sign in free agency. Malik and Calais, and you can find that 3 technique.
What veteran guys aren't here next year? Cam, Farakasi. They got to be
Rayshawn
Sheriff
and Sheriff are the guys that
Those
when you look
four
at
have
the
to be in
cap,
play, right?
when you look at the cap, the realities of decisions make those four guys. When they signed them, this was the year that they would have to make those decisions. So I would be a little surprised.
All four probably.
Yeah, and a Cam I struggle with, but the cap's tough.
Yeah, and by the way, of the four, that would be the hardest one for me too.
Yeah, absolutely. But the savings is pretty substantial. It's $16.5 million to move on from them, and you've got some pretty big numbers coming up. Zay Jones is another one.
Mm-hmm.
You can save $4.5 million. We all respect Zay Jones in the player that he is, but I think that's a tough decision for them.
Well, you have to. What I don't know, because I don't know medical reports, 2 injuries this year that lingered. No reason that has to be what he is, but players, when they get to a certain point, then injuries start being their theme. Do your medical people tell you that, hey, those were fluky, or, hey, this is what this player is? And that can be wrong, but sometimes that plays into the decision. Saving $4.5 million, boy, I would not want to bargain basement Zay Jones.
What do you think about Tyson Campbell? Do you think it's the injuries and that's why he had a bad year? Or do you think he's just not the player maybe we thought he was going to turn into?
That again, it's almost like trying to dissect Trevor in a way in the last 6 weeks. I would guess it's the injuries, and I say that with Trevor first because I thought he was playing really, really well for 3 games, and he gets hurt in Cincinnati and then didn't play. Well, it's an if-then scenario. Tyson Campbell, I was really good last year. Injuries were a thing. I mean, I'm not sure if they were ever not a thing for him this year. Wasn't as good. I've got to believe the injury played into it until something shows me different. And you can say all you want about it. Well, you got to play through injuries. Well, they're not Madden players. Injuries, when you're trying to play through something, it affects you. So with Tyson, I've got to believe a lot of it was injuries because he struggled.
2 other contract questions. Does Josh Allen get a long-term extension this offseason, and does Trevor have to wait a year for his?
I think Josh gets a long-term extension, and I may be saying that because I fervently believe he should. I think his ceiling, or I should say this, Josh's floor, when he's quote-unquote struggles, he's still really, really good. So he's very safe. To me, if he gets 9 sacks and you'd say, oh, it's an awful year, well, he's still really good everywhere else. He's been reliable. He's everything you want, all that. Trevor, it's hard to read because I think it's going to be a matter of the team has to figure out he's still got a long way to go. He still has to get better in a lot of areas. There were things that you're not sure of. Can he cut out the turnovers? At the same time, you don't want – I always say I don't want to see his car leaving the parking lot for the last time. So I don't want to be standing there when that happens. So I think they probably go to him and say, hey, we need to figure out financially what makes sense, or we need to wait. I'm not sure it happens this year after what we saw at the end of the year, but as soon as I say that, I do fervently believe he's going to be the franchise. So, again, a bad answer, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's no danger of Trevor Lawrence ever not being the quarterback here. I mean, barring injury,
right.
Unless he just collapses and becomes a really
But I
bad
do think
player.
it's fair to wonder, do you give him market-setting money?
When do you do it?
When you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. And I think the answer to that is probably no.
Right.
But I think at the end of the day, that car's never leaving the parking lot.
Right.
That's somehow, some way, when you have a Trevor Lawrence, you figure out a way for the car to not leave the parking lot. And so I don't worry about that. The Josh Allen question is a bigger one for me because I think there's no doubt in my mind I would pay him. He's, to your point about everything you want, that stuff matters. He's it's 17 sacks.
It's 17 sacks, and again, I always go back, he was awful in 2021 or whatever. Yeah. He always is. I always go back to this with Josh. When a defensive player is hurt, I always look first to make sure it's not Josh.
Right.
Because I don't want him out of the game.
And he and everything he brings in the community and respected teammate and I mean, the guys like that don't come along.
He's what you want to pay.
That's exactly right. Guys like that just don't come along very often. All right, as we say goodbye, great job all year. We appreciate it. Interesting final question for you, John. You've done a great job with this, as you always do. It's a weird ending to the season.
Yeah.
Because I still think they have a good team. They're still a team with a winning record that has a good team and will be a factor moving forward. Yet it doesn't feel good, does it? That last year felt good even after the Kansas City game.
And I think that's why Doug, he's been around the league since '95.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he's probably smart to answer the question the way he did today about changes, et cetera.
I think so too.
And probably not just to be answering it that way, but to be doing it that way. You don't want to, in the first 2 days after a collapse like that, blame everybody and make a bunch of decisions. You want to step away from it and make sure that you're seeing the big picture and not the small picture. You don't want to stand pat on things that you need to change, but yeah, it so soils how you feel about it that I usually don't get that emotional about it. Last night I woke up a couple of times going, "Oh man, what just happened?"
Me
too.
You
woke up and I got a letter from an email, or I got an email from somebody saying, I woke up and I thought it was a dream, and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think we all sort of felt that did that really happen that way?
Great
oh,
point,
my goodness. And so they're feeling that 10 times more than we are, so that's why you got to step away.
Great point. John, great work all year. We appreciate it.
Guys, Lauren, thank you.
John Ogier from the Jaguars.com. If you're not reading him, you've lost your mind. He's the best in the business.
How about that?
Take a break. Lauren, 1 segment to go. Lauren's got news and notes. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The 14 NFL playoff teams have been determined, and the matchups are set starting this weekend with 6 games on the slate. The 2 teams with the byes are naturally the betting favorites to win the Super Bowl. The San Francisco 49ers, the number 1 seed in the NFC, plus 230 to take home the Vince Lombardi Trophy. The Baltimore Ravens, the number 1 team in the AFC, is at plus 350. The Buffalo Bills, who will open up at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday, are plus 650 to win the Super Bowl. The Dallas Cowboys will host Green Bay on Sunday, are plus 750. This update brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010XL.
Hey there, Jacksonville. This is Jeff Norman.
And I'm Mike Jones.
And we're the owners of Duck Rooter and want to wish you a Happy New Year.
As we dive into 2024, remember that Duck Rooter is here for all your plumbing, AC, and septic needs.
No matter the size of the project or issue, we've got your back.
So, for a worry-free year, trust our team experts at Duck Rooter.
Call us today at 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Happy New Year, Jacksonville. We are here for you.
This is Hayes Carlyon for QC Kinetics. You can make the decision right now to get lasting relief from that awful joint pain for 2024. Don't go another year compromising because of that pain in your knees or shoulder, your hip, your back. Call QC Kinetics now. Look, they've got 2 great locations, Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Give them a call at 904-274-5522 for a free consultation. Again, 904-274-5522. The future of pain treatments, it's arrived. And QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients all over America. People with back pain, hip pain, any pain associated with arthritis or an injury. Again, no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Your body has what it needs to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue. Again, give them a call for a free consultation. QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. This is Hayes Carlyon for QC Kinetics. You can make...
And if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
From the very beginning, 1010XL has encouraged and recognized the accomplishments of local scholar athletes.
Wednesdays on the Frangie Show.
Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists
And the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
Let me get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
JEA is dedicated to keeping your utility costs down, so we offer programs and solutions to help you use less and save more. From simple and easy tips that reduce usage to free in-home efficiency assessments that show you ways to be more energy and water efficient, and efficiency rebates that help you save on appliance upgrades. Because as your community-owned, not-for-profit utility, we're here to serve you, and only you. To learn more, visit JEA.com.
Wondering what you're going to do for dinner tonight? Southern Steer Butcher is a full-service butcher, and we grind and make sausage in-house every day.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying. They can also signal a major problem or electrical emergency. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
8 Sparky. Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Tired of overpaying for tires? Cruise into Tire Outlet for the best selection, best quality, and best prices on the tires you need to keep you and your family safe on the road. With over 40 years of experience and 15 locations across Florida, Tire Outlet is the brand you can trust to perform great service at a great price. Our technicians are ready to do the maintenance and repairs to your vehicle performing its best. Tire Outlet, wholesale prices, premium service.
Tire Outlet. Hey, it's Angela and Brian Wall. How many companies do you know in this day and age that actually want their potential customers to call their competition and get quotes from them?
That's what WonderWorld wants you to do. WonderWorld knows there are other window companies out there, but we also know those other guys. When compared to WonderWorld, they can't offer you the quality at the price that WonderWorld can.
And with WonderWorld, you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement business.
If anything goes wrong with your new WonderWorld windows, 5 years from now, 10, 15, 50, WonderWorld and I will be there to fix it for you. You get peace of mind with WonderWorld, and to top it off, WonderWorld windows increase the value of your home. So look what you get with WonderWorld. Quality windows, low price, the best guarantee in the business, energy savings, and an increase in the value of your home. A win-win for you.
Call WindowWorld today and get your free in-home estimate or see them online at WindowWorldNEFlorida.com.
WindowWorld, simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The hard truth of the Jaguars' 2023 season is that it was the biggest collapse in franchise history. Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson spoke today about the stunning fall down the final stretch.
We just can't have the collapse like we did this year, because you feel like now the season's sort of wasted, right? Because you had a great opportunity, to win the division, and we didn't. So we have to live with that, and we have to own it, and we got to learn from it. But I still feel like we still have the best football ahead of us, moving forward.
Doug Peterson this afternoon. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
What's going on in the world? It's time for Frangie Show news and notes. Here's Lauren Brooks.
Well, that brightened my mood hearing a little Queen's Fat Bottom Girls. And you know what else brightens my mood? The fact that on Friday we are going to be at UNF for River City Rumble Part 1 as North Florida plays host to JU in men's basketball. That game tips off at 7 o'clock. We'll be there broadcasting from 3 to 6, and it's your chance right now to win a pair of tickets to that River City Rumble. Again, that game at UNF. Be caller number 2 at 641-1010. Caller number 2, 641-1010. We've got tickets to give away all week long. It's going to be an absolutely fun night at UNF. All right, Hayes, what was not fun was the Jaguars' offense this season. Take it away.
Now, Hammer Time with Hayes. Brought to you by Golden Hammer Roofing and Gutters. The Golden Standard in Roofing.
It's so disappointing hearing Doug Peterson today say that he thinks Press Taylor did a good job as the play caller. The offense was terrible, and Doug Peterson deserves ownership in this as well. I mean, he's an offensive mind, and he's the head coach. So I'm not trying to make this solely on Press Taylor, but I do think the Jaguars have to make absolute significant changes to the offense. I would recommend Doug Peterson calling the plays. I know he doesn't want to fire Press Taylor, but something needs to change in how the offense is run. Besides just, okay, we're going to get rid of the receivers coach, if that's in fact what ends up happening. When you look at the offensive production, this was a team in the offseason that talked about, well, we feel like we can gain 6 more points on our points per game. They felt like they could be in the high 20s, 28, 29, which is right around where the Chiefs were when they led the league last year. So last year the numbers were great. You were 10th in yards. You were 9th in yards per play at 5.67. 5th in interception rate, 4th in sacks, 9th on third down, 20th in red zone, which was shaky, and they averaged 23.8 points per game. All of those numbers dropped this season. All of them. And if that doesn't scare the heck out of you, if you're Shad Khan, then I don't know what will, and I don't know what else you need to see if you're Doug Peterson to reevaluate where you're moving forward with this offense. So this year, they finished 13th in yards, 16th in yards per play, 17th in interception rate, 10th in sack rate, 17th on third down, 21st in red zone, and they averaged 22.2 points per game, so 1.6 points less. That's got to be a concern. I mean, you basically went from being good to elite in everything last year. You add Calvin Ridley, and you become average to awful in pretty much every offensive metric, and you also give the ball away 8 more times than you did last year. It just was a massive regression from the quarterback, the offensive line, everybody involved in it, and it's got to lead to something changing. Doug Peterson has to look at this in the next couple of days and say, I can't ignore what the data is telling me, and the data is telling me that our numbers slipped, and if they slip again like this next year because they stick with the status quo, they will be a god-awful offense, and they'll be lucky to win 9 games.
I think if you look at it, now that we can take a step back, Frank, the Jaguars were fairly lucky to win some of the games that they did last year down the stretch.
There's some truth to that.
And if you look at this year, the Jaguars ran out of that luck. And they had injuries at key positions. Certainly the injuries that Trevor went through, that was terrible. And the fact that the offensive line just underperformed, I think the luck ran out. And you were looking at a team that didn't improve as much as it needed to this offseason. They thought that they had all the pieces that they needed. That was not the case. And to Hayes' point, the offense never got to where it needed to get to, and it regressed from a season ago. And so you take the luck out and you add the fact that your you missed completely on parts of your offensive line, and that's what leaves you with a feeling of the Jaguars were in a position to have the number 1 seed in the AFC. It feels like not that long ago with the Bengals coming to town with a backup quarterback and now to miss the postseason after having a 96% chance to do so.
Yeah, they were 9-8 both years. They had some really close games down the stretch both years. Last year they won them. They had 2 overtime games. Last year they won the overtime game. This year they lost the overtime game. They won some games at the end last year. This year they lost some games at the end. So there weren't. The difference is last year because they had that momentum late, it felt like they were headed in the right direction. And this year because they failed late, it looks like they're not headed in the right direction. But big picture, they weren't an entire. And Hayes is right. Statistically they were, but in terms of wins and losses, they're the same team. I mean, the reality is when it was the identical record, wins and losses. But I get it. I can say that all I want. I'm disappointed. You're disappointed. We're all disappointed because with an 8-3 start, it shouldn't have been the same record. That's the point. That's the conversation we're all having. Is it shouldn't have been the same record.
And I think, Hayes, when you look at this season, a year ago you felt like the Jaguars came very close to maybe beating the Chiefs in Arrowhead. This year, when you compare the Jaguars to the 2 best teams they played, the 49ers and the Ravens, they weren't even close. So you go into this offseason feeling like you're a lot farther away than you went into this past offseason.
Well, and look, we haven't really touched on this either, but it's got to be something that is a primary focus for how the Jaguars go about their business and also how they're perceived. Look, you're behind the Houston Texans now. I'm sorry, but you just are. They have a rookie quarterback. They have a rookie edge rusher that you have to think are going to only get better. They have a first-time head coach that you have to think is going to have made some mistakes this year that he isn't going to make moving forward. They've got tons of cap space. So it's not just that you failed. It's that you're no longer even close to being the best team in your division. And you've got to worry about Indianapolis as well. So you're chasing again. You had 1 year where you were at the top, and we thought it would last for more than just that 1 year, but it didn't. And you can't remain status quo. The Houston Texans lapped you by you remaining in status quo mode. You've got to go do something to catch them. And you've got to hold off the Colts as well, who, look, I don't know how good Anthony Richardson will be, but if he's good, they just won 9 games with Gardner Minshew starting 15 games. And, so to me, that's the other part of this, too, is there's got to be a sense of urgency. Doug Peterson's like, well, our window is open. What window? How could you possibly view yourself as a contender when you see how they played against the 49ers, Ravens, Chiefs, and down the line, and you're not even close to being the best team in your own division? So, again, they've got to be bold, big moves this offseason and go get it if they want to join those clubs.
Yeah, now I agree with the last thing you said. They've got to go make some changes. But I think their window's open. I think if you have a young quarterback, a mostly young team, and you had back-to-back winning seasons, most teams in that scenario would think the window's open. I don't think that's an unusual thing. I think you would think the window's open if that's how you, particularly this franchise, which has never had a window, hasn't had many open windows, if you will. So I would think they would think that.
I just went to get the chair for Blue and stabbed my back on the shelf.
Oh,
that was not the best maneuver for me, but it's fine. The season's over. I can go on IR. Frank, quickly, the national championship tonight.
Yeah, there's a college game tonight.
There is one final college game. You've got Michigan currently as a 5.5-point favorite over Washington. Is that how you think it goes?
Ultimate physical versus finesse game. It's I think Washington is way better at throwing the football. They're pretty to watch. They throw it all over the place. They play a lot of one-possession games, and they find a way to win them because they have one more good passing play than the other guys. Michigan is old school, 23-year-old offensive lineman that will hit you in the mouth and bust you in the mouth. And I generally think the more physical team usually wins the game, particularly in a matchup like this when one's physical and one's finesse. So I think Michigan. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's.
I hope so.
If Washington can get it into a 38-35 game, they win. If Michigan can keep it into a 27-17 game, they win. I think Michigan wins.
I like Michigan. I'll say Michigan wins. I do think it'll be a really good game. I'll say 30-28 Michigan.
That would be a good game. I think somehow, some way, Washington finds the way because they have the better quarterback and they have a really talented receiving core. I think they're made for this moment, and I'm going to go against the two of you. But time now to get to today's takeaways.
Now, today's takeaways, brought to you by Key Buick GMC, where our family dealership has been helping families buy vehicles for over 50 years.
My takeaway is the Jaguar fans were fantastic all year. To see the road games that I was lucky enough to attend, to see the crowd support there, it really felt like it went up a level this season. The fans have always been great, but it seemed like they really took it to a higher level. It's unfortunate that the team didn't deliver for them. An epic collapse, a lot of questions that will be asked, and basically 245 days, in my opinion, until you can start feeling good about this team again, because the only elixir for what happened yesterday is winning regular season games in 2024. I know I'll go out to OTAs and training camp and get excited by what I see, but I will always come back to the collapse of 2023 before I get my excitement and optimism back.
Yeah, I think turnovers. Doug hit it today. You can't have that many turnovers and be a good football team. And it's hard to play call when you're turning the ball over. And it's also hard to play call when your offensive line isn't protecting and isn't run blocking well. And that's the major difference between last year and this year. Last year, Travis Etienne, I feel like, could make hay when the sun shone. And this year, there was not much hay to make. Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Tire Outlet is now hiring. Visit tireoutlet.com/careers. Equal opportunity employer.
You said make hay. I was going to say let's say hey to Blue. They don't say hey.
Hey.
They don't say hey though, do they? Does anyone like in Southie ever say hey?
If I ever said hey, you know what my dad used to say to me? Hay is for horses. And that is a true story. There were certain things I weren't allowed to say, like ain't. I was not allowed to say hey.
Now do you say ain't?
Say it all the time. My dad's in Tampa. He can no longer give me noogies.
He doesn't know.
He can no longer pound me on the head when I say things that he doesn't like.
Rick, that was a tough one, bro. That was a tough one. That
really,
was a tough
really.
one for the city, for everybody.
I'm still a little bit in a state of shock. I mean, I was convinced all week they'd win. I didn't care if it was Trevor or C.J. Beathard. I just figured they'd go in there and win this game. But now all of a sudden it's like, what happened? I mean, 6 in a row it would have been. Their only win is against Carolina, which is clearly the worst team in pro football. So it becomes a major letdown. Now you got to try to fix this thing. And you got plenty of time, and 108 days to the draft, and second week of March begins free agency. But I was kind of hoping we'd get something today, just something. But it appears that's not going to be the case.
You expect any kind of changes of significance?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Like what?
I think a coordinator goes. I don't think that you can. I just don't think you can look at everyone and say, all right, we were 9-8 a year ago. We're 9-8 this past year. We're okay. We were injured. Let's just put it all to work and let's be better next year. I think in a situation like this, there has to be at least one fall guy. At least one. And I wouldn't be shocked if you see the offensive and defensive coordinators go. My guess is it'll probably just be one. There's no way Trent Baalke's going to lose his job. I mean, as much as people out there want that to happen, I don't see that being a part of this equation. So my guess is they lose a coordinator.
All right. What's coming up tonight?
All that. And get ready as well for certainly tonight's game. But obviously the emphasis is on the crushing blow to Jaguar fans yesterday. We'll get into that beginning right now.
All right. That's Rick Ballou goes into the night right now. Folks, that does it for our program. All Jaguars today, but a lot of stuff we'll talk about tomorrow. More Jaguars. And we'll also talk about tonight's college football championship game and a whole lot more right here. For Hayes, Lauren, and RJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.